Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there. Peace to Father X. Done know the thing already. Peace to
Yep.
everybody in the building from early. Yeah, man's getting the show on the road now still. Who are they? Where do they come from? Are they human? God,
Yeah.
X got a lot to say about this one still. Every show this gets brought up, you get me? Every so I was like, right, I might as well do a show on it. So
Yep.
we can like, people know exactly where you're coming from, you get me? Cause it sounds strange to man, you get me?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, you know how we do anyway. You know what I mean? It's not strange to you, it's not strange to some people, but obviously we've got to put it out there, you know what I'm saying, so man can get the full idea of what's running through my head. And also, as we said before, it's Ghettoology.
Ketology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are
Boy,
you
I'm gonna make it do your thing, X.
all right then, cool, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same as usual, no idiot calls, and the time situation remains the same. So if they
Yeah. Let me explain that then for people that's logging on still so they understand. Yeah, man's gonna let it's X's show. I'm just hosting it and giving him the platform to do his thing still. So how the rule set is that he's gonna make his presentation uninterrupted, no one else on the panel other than me, obviously just moderating. And when he says when, man's gonna open up the phone lines for people to jump on, but it's gonna be like limited to one person at a time, innit? Because we want it to be constructive, the conversation, and we want it to be relevant to the topics that's being discussed. You get me? And each person who comes on, like, we're gonna set like a limit to 5-10 minutes. But obviously, depending on how the conversation's going, man, I'll just checking with X if man wants it to continue a bit longer or like that. You get me, sir? That's basically how the show's gonna format, how it's gonna run right now. You get me? But yeah,
mm,
your time, that X.
all right, respect, bro.
Yeah, respect.
Um, and you can, if anything relevant comes up, you can hop in, brother, and let me know. So I will do it as long as it's not a detour. I'll do it.
Yeah. What you mean? What comments and all of them thing there?
Yeah, if there's something along the line, yeah, not like somebody's asking me how tall I am or some shit like that.
Alright, see that.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I respect.
All right, then, cool. Yeah, one day we're gonna get this music. We're gonna get some music on, and then we're gonna get it organized. But we haven't quite got there yet. We're only on about fifth show, so we're getting there. Okay, the title of today's talk, should I say, is "They Live." Now, the reason why I came up with "They Live," what I'm saying, is it's just a catchy title because it's really about they, and it's like, who are they? That's what we're asking. Who are they? You know what I'm saying? Like, because everybody say, oh, they don't want us to survive, and they don't want us to do this. And I had a notice up, heard me up. So when Nipsey Hussle said, "If they kill me, you lot are gonna have to rise for me." You know what I'm saying? So if they kill me, and it's like we always referring to the they of this world. You know what I'm saying? Like, who are they? Who is the for black people especially? You know what I mean? Because ghettoology, whilst incorporates various other mindsets in terms of me now, there are a lot of people, especially white people, especially educated white people, who don't like black people sort of self-naming and self-evolving and all that. They don't really like that, especially if it's prejudicial to anything that they've had to work hard at. But the only reason why black people have to self-name and self-evolve in that way is because from the very, very beginning, through their racism, through their white power racism, they locked us out of, the education system, and it made it difficult for us to get places to live from the very beginning. So these, calling ourselves general and king and queen and princess and all that, that's our way of holding on to our dignity and showing our self-worth. No, because the only other way to be worthy in this society is for the white man to give us the thumbs up, through his education, through his, appreciation of, and his awards. Just like the other day when, after this long time, Spike Lee, the black film producer, jumped up and down and spun around like a little girl, like a little baby, like a little girl, like, you know what I mean, like You know, and not people said, yeah, you deserve it. No, no, but I'm saying that behavior is the behavior of a child. That's not the behavior of a man in his 60s, and that's not dignified. You know what I'm saying? So he just felt that pat on his back from white people, even though he claims to be a black activist. But this particular pat on his back from white people made him, made him jump for bloody joy. You know what I'm saying? So there's very many of us as black people that find it, we don't find ourselves relevant unless white people say we are relevant. You know what I'm saying? So, when like last year had a caller saying, "Oh, you're trying to be a doctor and all that." You know what I'm saying? It's because whether I had the skill to be a doctor or not, or whether my family or my environment had the money to put me in that, I didn't get there. So what I call myself is the way we do ourselves, because we are the gene of Earth. You know what I mean? We are the manipulators of Earth. We are the children of Earth. So we will always find different ways to communicate on this planet, no matter what they do. They've been trying to stop. And again, when I say white people, again, for those who are going to try and say, you know what I'm saying? I don't mean all white people. I don't mean every single individual white people you went to school with, you work with, you got children for, your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, your cousin, whatever. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I don't mean your mom, your dad, who might be white. I don't mean every single individual. I mean white people as a race of people and all their connective races, the Koreans, the Chinese, the Indians. They're all connected to that Caucasian race. They all do not like the black people of this planet. So you'll always be at war with them. You know what I'm saying? They have the similar mindset in terms of depreciation of human value and the abuse of humanity in order to make money. The group that I just mentioned, the Indians, the Koreans, and the Chinese, and the British, and the Germans, and all that, they abuse humanity, and they definitely abuse black people in order to survive for themselves. They have a system of abuse. Their system is built upon the abuse of the populace. It's not, you know what I'm saying? And they threaten you with violence if you go against it, and they force it, and they're very aggressive when they're trying to talk about communism and socialism and stuff like that. I'm not going off the topic. I just want to make a point. So when they're talking about like socialism and capitalism, all this kind of stuff, they always try to name things for themselves, and they always go back to their readings and their versions of events. You know what I'm saying? Unless they agree, and even if you got like what I'm going to do with They Live, even if you got another version, they want to go back to their version. See what I'm saying? So there's an arrogance about the Caucasian race, the Asiatic race, you know what I'm saying, against the African race or the black race, the original human beings of this planet. So be clear, no matter what, no one says Adam and Eve would have been black. Not what would have been, was black. Now, the mitochondrial Eve was black. So so there was no way in any part of history should we have been called subhuman or monkey or less than a man. There's no part that just does not compute in history at all. You know what I mean? In the history of humanity, because humanity is black. Make no bones about it. And these are things that people, obviously, I'm not some great big celebrity and I haven't got tens of thousands of views and all that, because I'm not chatting one bag of stupidness and But these are the views of the masses. Yeah, these are the views of the masses. They want you to believe that you were once subhuman. So when did we become human? We've always been human. But there is the subhuman element amongst us. There's a less than human element that lives amongst us and suppresses humanity. Humanity is black. There is no other humanity that black. Now, anything else, as they've mentioned through their own scientists, comes from that mitochondrial Eve, comes from Africa or started in Africa, or has roots within that black human being. That's the original man of the planet. So human beings are not a whole bunch of mongoloids and this, that, and that. Human beings are black people. That's it. Anything else now after black people becomes questionable. Any other race after black people becomes questionable as to being human. That's my view. Remember, it's my theory, it's my hypothesis, and I'm giving it away. I come to it, and why I look at the world in the way I do, and why I created Ghettoology. I mean, a lot of white people jump on and talk about how I'm racist and da. But a lot of Jamaican people come on and say, "Oh, I don't like Jamaicans." And a lot of Africans come on and say, "I don't like Africans." Has nothing to do with that. It has to do with what I can see and what other people can see. But some people are scared, and some people do not have the ability to decode it, or some people don't have the ability to reference, or some people don't have the ability to balance them out, or some people just don't have any ability whatsoever and just listen to whatever comes out of anyone's mouth. So even what I've got to say obviously has to be challenged. You know what I'm saying? But people used to want to challenge it aggressively, because the nature of the person who didn't belong to this planet, or seemingly doesn't belong, are the most aggressive peoples on the planet. And what they then do is, because they control everything through their aggression, they then try to use whatever they control, make it seem as if it's pleasantly and peacefully controlled, and then use that vision, whether it's the media, because remember, the media comes from Greek. You know what I mean? Medias. You know what I'm saying? There's even a country called Medes. You know what I'm saying? And there is a place called Media. It's an actual Greek place. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So these are Greek people. These are these people. You know what I mean? They brought this to the planet. You know what I'm saying? There is a place called Medes, and you have people called basically Media. The Media is a whole race of people. You know what I'm saying? Everybody seems to see it like, people keep pointing to people and naming the one man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not off subject. Okay, I'm still on subject. I'm talking about they live. This is what it's about. It's about they. Those they. Who are they? You know what I'm saying? There's a whole bunch of people out there who are the they, who have criminalized, murdered, and tortured. You know what I'm saying? And stolen and find ways to go to their lands, their indigenous lands, and steal their lands for it and call it progress, and then abuse the people with low wages and drugs and alcohol and all types of injustices and unfairness. It's they, that's them, that's them, that's the they I'm talking about. So white people usually jump up and say, "Oh, you're racist, you're this, that, and the other." And, you know what I'm saying? Because I talk about white people, I'm saying they're the only people that seem alien to this planet. You know what I'm saying? There's people who are even white that says there's something wrong with the white man. There's a book called The Iceman Inheritance. He talks about the aggression, the utter and total aggression of the white man. You know what I'm saying? There's people like Michael Tesorian. They don't necessarily talk about white people, but they talk about stuff. They talk about things generally, like when evil came to the planet and all that kind of stuff. Alex Jones talks about his evil oligarchical empire, which are just bare white people and their various black counterparts. You get what I'm saying? So Alex Jones talks about that. All the little, you know what I'm saying? The guy who talks about white like me, forgotten his name now. Tim White. You know what I'm saying? These are people who know that the white man is a cruel and inhumane being. And the reason why the reason why I as a black man, Jamaican stroke quote Africa, can talk about that is because I've been on my people as a race and as a country, or not even as a country, as a race, basically coming from a part of the continents of this country, of this planet, have been abused for the past 1,000 years by both the white, the Arabs, because people want to. It's no good every time you look at something, you're going to look at some anthropological stuff, and they're going to say, well, anthropologically, the white man, the Far Eastern Asian is a Mongoloid. He's not actually white, so I don't know how you can, come to those types of conclusions because, but they're always fucking wrong. These people always reach. One minute, I say this, next minute I'll say that. 1 minute this is good, and then it's not good anymore. They used to give each other blood. They used to, the upper classes used to dribble blood into each other, thinking that was right at that time. At that time, it was right to them, even though a lot of them were still dying, until one of them came along and found out there was different bloodlines, there was different blood types. You know what I'm saying? So it's just because they say something like the theory of evolution by Darwin, it's been, there's even white people are saying, well, I'm not too sure about that. You know what I'm saying? But it was fact for a very long time. Now it's like, whoa, whoa. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's questioned now. You know what I'm saying? This is, years. So when it's not that I'm right, I'm not saying I'm right. Questioning the authoritative statements of these people is just should be normal practice. And I can be wrong. You know what I'm saying? But they never wrong, but yet they're wrong. You know what I'm saying? One minute homosexuals was a crime, it was a sin, you know what I'm saying, to be a homosexual. Now they're getting married. It was at first, it was also noted, you know what I'm saying, back in the Victoria as someone who's insane. You know what I mean? If you was a homosexual, you was classed as insane. So and they've got so if I was living in that time now, all the homosexuals around would be nutcases. You get what I'm trying to say? But so when you question stuff in the 21st century, it's not new. It doesn't mean that everything that else is written. This is why people are questioning whether the earth is round or whether it's flat. In the 21st century, people are questioning shit. They, the they, you know what I'm saying, who say, oh, they say it's round. But then we, I'd say, sorry, all right, let's look at let's look at the evidence that you're purported that the world is round. Hands up, everybody who's seen the world from the outside. Hands up to the listeners, yeah? All of you will say, yeah, I'll say, bruh, or whatever, to all of you who've seen the world from the outside. Can't hear no bruh, can't hear no soul, yeah? So the only time you've actually seen the world is from visualization of somebody else. They told you the world was round. If I told you right now that I was sitting and around me there was $10 million, you know what I'm saying? And every time you saw me, I had these pictures of money around me. You believe that I was sitting around this money because you believe it because, you know what I mean? But you haven't actually seen it, but you've seen visions of me in it. So you don't know whether it's real or not, but I'm saying it's real. And there are people that say it's real. And then there's people that say, yeah, I went to his house, bro. Yeah, he's got beer money. He's got, he's sitting around, beer money. And that's what I'm saying. So you don't really know. So there's nobody that's listening right now that's seen the outside of this world. So in truth, you don't really know if it's round. I'm not saying it isn't or isn't. I'm saying you don't really know. But you believe that it's round because you've been threatened with roundness all your life. They call it the globe. Because you never hear me say the globe. Or, all that global warming. It's not global warming. It's the earth, bro. It's the earth and why is it called a planet? Planet. Why is it called planet? If it's a globe, why is it called a planet? It doesn't make sense. So the two of them are pulling against each other. A globe is not a plane. You know what I'm saying? A globe is not a planet. It's not a plane at all. So if you have, I mean, you can try to walk on a plane and you'll walk, fair enough. Try to walk on a globe and see what happens. You know what I'm saying? Try to have a big globe that you're going to walk on and see if you don't tip over and bust up your face. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You try to walk on a football. Try to walk on 10 times of a football. You know what I'm saying? The size of a football and 10 times. Try to walk on that and see if you don't drop over and bust up yourself. So the idea, what I'm saying is, what I'm putting forward is that things are questionable based upon what people are telling you, based upon what you know is true. Isn't it? They're questionable because you also said they've also presented Jesus as a white man. I mean, come on, bro. This is the trick. No, I was talking specifically to black people and those who are truth seekers of truth, or even challenging and know something inherent. Because some of you are children of another type of being, and you will actually suggest that way of life. But there's some of you who still have the original humanity in you that hasn't been lost through cyber warfare, cyber shits, or chemical ladens, or some of you still got it. Some of you got the strength of that character. The original human beings are original humanity. And some people who are white have some humanity in them simply because they mixed in. You know what I'm saying? They mixed in with blacks and then they mix back to being white. So they've learned some humanity, DNA wise. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not of themselves. White people are not of themselves. White people are of black people. Everybody's of black people if you want to class yourself as human. You can be another being and be on earth, but you can't class yourself as human if you don't come from the original seed, the original DNA, which is black. Adam and Eve is black. Mitochondrial Eve is black. If Jesus was alive, he wouldn't have been, he would have been black, bro. He wouldn't have been, Muhammad would have been black, bro. They wouldn't have been these Caucasian type looking people that they're claiming. Wouldn't have been. Because the only people that seem to spread humanity is those people. Those people that taught the world how to live. And if you believe in the creation story in the Bible, it talks about, you know, we made man in our image and after our likeness. So how comes they were black then? You know what I'm saying? So how comes they were black when you made them, and then all of a sudden, for the rest of our lives, we only see white people? You see great big paintings in the Louvre and all these kind of places all over the world of God touching a white man touching another white man with his finger, going, "That's God, bro." You know what I'm saying? And there's another brother that everybody, all black people got in their house in Africa, all over the goddamn world, with this white man with a beard that looks like that comedian brother. You know what I'm saying? The one that they make mistake for Jesus when he went to Africa. What's his name again? The comedian brother. I've forgotten his name, but him. You understand? These people have perpetuated being the first people of the planet by removing the truth and replacing it with lies and replacing it with a version. So I don't understand. You claim that, you know, and just as another sidebar quickly. I also continue to say to people, you know what I'm saying? I also continue to champion, stop using the term white supremacy. White people have never been supreme. They are not supreme. You cannot use, it's stupid to use a guy who's bombed and murdered black people, or they burned down their churches, killed people. It's stupid to watch men shoot down and commit crimes against black people and saying that that person is a supremacist because they've decided that they like the term supreme rather than racist murderer. You understand what I'm saying? Why are they supreme in their murder? Why is the supremacist idea? Because that's all supreme mean. It's their word, it's not my word. I haven't recolonized it to make it sound like it means what it means. It means superior. How the fuck can a man who's murdering black people for his whiteness and for claiming that he's better than us and hanging them and murdering them and raping them, how can he be celebrated and have been championing his supremeness? You know what I'm saying? Just because black people have been saying it for years or it came from a black scholar doesn't mean it cannot be changed. Doesn't mean it's run out of its fucking life. Choke that motherfucker to death, bro. Kill that shit. Stop using that. Choke the life out of that fucking word. You know what I'm saying? So strangle it, blood clot, so it can't use again. I watch it slump on the floor. Supreme white supremacy. Don't you understand? This is what people do. So when you give them that, you give them a title, you're giving it to them. How can you murder somebody on basis of hatred and then I call you a supremacist? Don't you hear how stupid and how illogical that sounds? Somebody's supreme because they can murder black people. You can't change it. You can't say, well, it's some guy says a doctrine and a doctrine of supremacy and superiority that means you have to murder black people in order to endorse it. How are you supreme, brother? You're a man. You're an animal. You know what I'm saying? You're less than human. You're inhumane. You're savage. How can you be called a supremacist? So I'm saying to people, as a sidebar, I'm going to get back. You know what I'm saying? Stop using the word white. They're practicing white supremacy because that's not what being supreme is. You silly people. You stupid people. Stop using these words. Start to choke the life out of it, because the more you choke the life out of it, they're going to have to find another word. They're not going to like to be called white racist murderers. You know what I mean? The guy who shot the guy who shot the people that were in the church, who got bulletproof vests and all that, and was called a supremacist. Why wasn't he called a murderer? Why is only black people will be called murderers? No matter what they do, teenage thug murderer, you know, this murderer, knock over a child murderer. But as soon as you murder a bunch of blacks, you're a supremacist. You understand what I'm saying? They control everything, and they control the narrative, and they want you to think the way they want you to think. So stop you strangle the life, murder the word white supremacy, kill it, bury it, hang it, do whatever, hung, drawn, and quarter it, do whatever you want to do with it, but stop using it. Stop using it. And what you got, I remember on the internet, you got a lot of people that are what you call trolls, and pretending they're black to try and keep them and try to talk as if they're black. So some of the times you don't see them, but they're actually white people infiltrating certain posts and trying to act as if they're on, you know, they're using a certain type of logic or certain type of understanding to say, well, you know, but it's actually white people. Remember that, because I've caught on Facebook, I've caught enough of them. You know what I'm saying? So they're not going to stop doing that. But be careful that you're not arguing with a white person trying to act, you know, especially when you know that they're arguing for what, you know, what they know white people would argue for, trying to make as if white logic, the logic of the European is greater than any logic on the face of the planet Earth. They are not superior. Yeah, they're not superior. What they've done over the past thousands of years is who's murdered and, you know, and used their weapons to subdue a whole bunch of people, keep them as their slaves while they moved on in life. You know what I mean? That's not what superiority is. You know what I'm saying? You have to use violence and a type of violence that's unknown to humanity, that's unknown to recorded humanity, the type of violence that they use. And you know, like every time you say the type of violence that white people are, they always try to bring up like Pol Pot or Idi Amin, you know, like a spit in the ocean to what white people have done. But they need to find someone, because it's not just us. Come on, stop it. It's not just us by ourselves, though. You know, some couple of names, and when the world is awash with their murder. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? And the numbers are crazy. The numbers are in the trillions, probably over 1,000 years. You know what I'm saying? Trillions of people they just murdered off. And I'm sure if you put all of them people together, Pol Pot, Idi Amin, and Papa Doc ain't even fucking black to that. But hey, if you put all of them together, it won't come up to, it'd just be a fraction of what white people have killed. But they need to use a name. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, they'll just feel like, for fuck's sake, we ain't that bad. You know what I'm saying? So, as I said, you know, mutilate that word, serial kill that word, white supremacy. So they live. So, as you know what I'm saying? So they have a way of behaving. You know what I'm saying? Where was I? Now I missed that earlier point where our full stop. But I was talking about, you know, how they're consistently mistaking stuff. They're consistently, you're having to revise shit. You can't follow them. You know what I'm saying? You start to worship them because you start to worship their likeness. He said the creator, according to that Bible, and according to Sumerian tablets, no, which is the Bible is just a second copy of that. They made them to work. You know, the Bible misses all of that shit out. Now I don't know how many versions and how many creations they've been on there. Now, because we're in the 21st century, and I'm not my parents. You know what I'm saying? I'm not of that mentality. You know what I mean? By staying live and staying on point in education and discovery on this planet, new things are popping up. You know what I'm saying? And you're realizing that some of this stuff is just utter bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And again say, any religion that puts a woman to the back of them was not a human religion. Didn't start off with humanity. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously, you know what I mean, you've got mitochondrial Eve. She didn't start off as no man's slave. You know, as no woman had to hide and had to stand behind a man and be a man's servant. That's something that these other beings created that are on earth, claiming it's human. You're like, oh well, you know, it's just human. No, it's not. You've had to shut down. You've had to hide. Hatshepsut, you know, the Queen Hatshepsut, who existed in the way back dynasties. Whoever came, whether it was the Syrians or the Philistines or whoever came, and whoever came who were connected to that Aryan Caucasian bloodline, you know, hid her as a woman. You know what I'm saying? Hid our queen as a woman. This is why a lot of black people are saying I'm a king, I'm a queen, because they know that there was always kings that they come from that lineage. And it's become so, and I used to bun it back in the day, say, oh, you can call yourself queen, you're queen or what? You know, king or what? You know what I mean? But it's become so ingrained because they need to have something to make themselves realize as a mantra that I ain't nobody's slave. I come from king. We lived in a land where we had kings and queens long before you lot had them. You know what I'm saying? But you've robbed us of that inheritance. You've robbed us of that mindset. You've robbed us of that memory. And it's only the ones who are hard at work, not the guys that are singing about drinking fucking Hennessy and blah. Not them. They're not telling you shit. They're only telling you to be more white. The ones who have taken and sometimes put their life on the line to make you know what your history is about. You know what I'm saying? The Shekhar Diops, the J.A. Rogers. You know what I'm saying? The Amos Wilsons of the world. These are people that stopped their life and studied in order to make you understand you are not of Germanic origin. You are not the child of a slave. You were not born into slavery. Your people existed, the human beings existed for hundreds of thousands of years before whoever these people call themselves human came into being. Because they weren't about when Egypt was running. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know where they came from, because they weren't there. They weren't in Kemet, it says the land of the blacks. Sudan, it says the land of the blacks. Kush, it says the land of the blacks. Where's the land of the whites? The name, the old Germanic name, the old Latin name of the land of the white people. Rome, maybe. Greece? Yeah, I'm saying, where is that land? They didn't have any. So where the fuck did they come from? Where did they originate? Oh, well, you know, we came from you and we went to the south where it was cold and for hundreds of years. And that's cool. That's a story. Remember, but again, it's hypothesis. If people are trying to prove these things, you know what I'm saying? But if you've seen some of these noses that I've seen, you know what I'm saying? I want to know where them noses come from. Because I can understand you needed to get thinner noses to breathe in the thinner air. But there's some noses that that's not about thin air. That's a beak, bro. That's a DNA. Where do you pick that DNA up from? You know what I'm saying? And why only some of you have got it if you all was living in this place? You know what I'm saying? There's so much mix up and there's so much hiding of the truth and there's so much masquerading, you know what I'm saying, as truth that after time you don't even know whether you're coming or fucking going as a human being. You know what I'm saying? That's all you have. All you have is your humanity. And humanity, every time we get to humanity, they murder us. Every time we show humanity, they kill us. You know what I'm saying? All they want is this incessant and consistent evil and violence. That's all they want, and the destruction of Earth. As you know, in 2019 now, we're in April 2019. You've got right now in 2019, April 2019. You've got people, you know, all over, almost all over Trafalgar Square, all over this, you know, claiming that the people that are running the Earth are criminal, and they're destroying the Earth. They won't. You know what I'm saying? So who are these? Who are they? Who are they? These are white people. This is not black people. These are white people. These are some humane white people. You know what I'm saying? But,
I was there today as well. Still,
you was there today.
Yeah. I was interviewing some of them in Oxford Circus and Marble Arch, innit?
All right, cool. You got footage of that, yeah?
Yeah. That man's gonna edit. I'm gonna try to edit in the background now. You get me? I went with Haiku, one of the speakers from Speakers Corner. Is a Marxist. You get me?
All right.
He had some information that like was making the organization look shaky, like the foundations of it. You get me?
Okay. Of their organization.
Yeah. So he was confronting them with that information there in it. But obviously, most of the people that we was bucking up on, even though it's a side note still, my man's just finishing now. Most of the people was bucking up on was just like they weren't none of the founding members there in it. Like, there were no high ranking officials there. You get me?
Yeah.
Like volunteers and that still.
Oh, okay. And I mean, they're trying to think. I mean, remember I don't use maybe a bit too young when they was all moving to save the trees. They had a little movement then. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I remember.
Yeah. You're putting too long for that, I reckon. But you know, white people try to save. They save foxes. They run around, and then that's why there's so many foxes in London. Because I believe that they transported the foxes from out their country and set them into London. We had no foxes. Foxes aren't grown from trees. I'm saying a tree can't give life to a fox. So where did a fox appear from in Brixton and in Peckham? You know what I'm saying? And in Harlesden and in Wembley, where did foxes appear from out of nowhere? Because nothing comes out of nowhere. So somebody did that. Somebody moved a whole bunch of foxes into London because there were people that was fighting against the rich white people killing foxes. Yeah. So it's all right, and you have them there. We put them down we ship them down by you. So we got a whole bunch of foxes that came out of basically nothing. Because remember, when I was younger, I used to walk the street late at night when I was, you know, because I was a bit of a tearaway. And all the time I walked the street at night, I was never scared of dogs, and I never saw a fox. I saw lots of stray dogs, never saw not one fox. I lived a whole entire life, you know what I'm saying? And I never saw a fox until this thing started with the foxes and they came out. You know what I'm saying? Nobody talks about it, but that's a whole nother sideline. Okay. But you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that these people operate in a way, they're sneaky. They're not upfront people. Their nature is sneaky. You know what I'm saying? They're not upfront because they've done so much wrongs on the planet that they're always lying. know what I'm saying? And they're slavers. As a race, they're a slaver race. You know what I'm saying? That's my view of them. They're a slaver race. Wherever they come from, they enslave people as a race. Like, you know, you got worker ants, you got termites, you got scorpions, you got all different types of insects. You know what I'm saying? You got lions, you got tigers, you know what I'm saying? You've got bears, you got all different types of animals. You know what I'm saying? Strong sort of for quadruped animals, mammalian quadruped animals, which they like to kill, by the way. White people do it for fun. You know what I'm saying? Just for the pleasure of watching things die. White people have that predisposition. It's in the white nature. While this is going on, I just lost my point there. I was talking about different species. So we're talking about, as a species, this is what they're like. So going back to what I just mentioned, all different types of species, but they don't act the same, they don't behave the same, even though they're quadruped and mammalian. So even though we're human, there are different, white people are different species to black people. They're not the same species. This idea that we're the same because we bleed blood. But bears and lions bleed blood, but they're not the same species. What the fuck is that about? Bears and lions have hearts, but they're not the same species. Bears and lions have penises and have wombs, but they're not the same species. So the idea that white people and black people are the same species is absolutely ridiculous in the 21st century. It is. We're not the same species. We're just, but what they break that down to, that now instead of saying species, now they say culture. So we're driven. No, we're not. But a whole rhythmical and DNA driven like pattern of existing is different. You know what I mean? It's not just because we're different colors, but we're all from the same. No, we're not. They're fucking not. We're not all from the same nothing. You know what I mean? Yeah, a bear comes from a womb, and so does a lion. They're not the same. You know what I'm saying? They're not the same. They both eat meat, but they're not the same. You know what I'm saying? They both probably fart, but they're not the same. I'm saying they're both mammalian, but they're not the same. You know, a dolphin's a class the same as a mammal. So in a mammal species, the dolphin is nothing like a fucking giraffe. You know what I'm saying? Or a deer. So, a giraffe is nothing like a deer, and a deer is nothing like a dolphin. But they're the same species. We are not the same as white people. Black people are just not. The fear that they put in free speech and all this, I'm offended, that the fear that they exercise into it is so that you can't talk about it, because the truth is what will set you free. The truth is what they're afraid of. You know what I'm saying? How can their place on earth is decidedly disgusting, what they've done to people and what they're allowed to get away with because they have the white racist dominance. Like that woman, Katie, whatever her name is, that is allowed to spill this file. But as soon as I open my mouth, oh, it's racist, and da-da-da-da. But they still give this woman a platform. They still give her a job in the newspaper. They still give her work abroad and here. Even no matter how much times they
You're talking about Katie Hopkins.
Yeah, you understand? How many times do they need to say that woman's racist and she's still fucking employed? Me? Oh, fuck him. Blackballing. Black people run like, oh, see that? And run where? You know what I'm saying? They're scared because niggas are scared. Black people are scared. They've been made to be scared of white people over the last millennia. Black people are frightened of white people. They are. No matter what you say, because that's why they use so much energy to kill each other. Because they're scared of white people. Sometimes the hatred that they're harboring is because of the situations that they're in through their families, who are also scared of white people. And sometimes, I don't know, like certain times, I remember when I was at school and certain brothers used to try to, I'm saying I'm fighting, fuck on them. I'm fighting, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not just going to keep making them lick me in the side of my fucking head. We used to have this corridor we used to walk down. And the sixth formers and the adults ones used to like lick us up in our head, like we were, the terms were sixth formers and first year. So you can imagine, you know what I'm saying? It's like year 10 and year 11 or something. Not year 10 and year, what is it? What their fucking years are? I can't remember how it was. Not year 10. What's the first year in primary, in secondary school now?
Year 7. Year 7.
Year 7. So it was year 7 versus the sixth form is what, year 10s or 11?
Sixth form is I think it's 11,
Yeah, right. So
I think year 11 is the last year, man.
Right. So we got 7. You got the year 7s walking down the corridor with your year 11s taking a piss and slapping them in the head and looking up into the sky. So when you look around, they look around into the sky. You know them ones, bro. You've been in that. Have you been down that masquerade?
Yeah, most definitely. Come
Yeah.
on.
Where the
When
man
you
looks,
now,
and then
yeah,
he looks away like,
I
and you go,
don't.
"What are you doing, bro?" He's like, what? You know
Yeah,
them ones.
that's why I got the more like closer to recent history has been getting. It's like the roles been reversing. The elders have been calming down, and the youngers have been the ones to kick it off, not to say it off.
Yeah, and
It's like
it real
it's like
though.
preemptive.
It's true. That's a good point.
This one I was in school still. Like man used to move
Yeah,
to the elders. You get me? Like the ones directly above us.
yeah. You
You
see,
get me? And
that
then
was when I was.
the youngers try to move to us. You get me? Like,
You see what
you
I'm
get me?
saying?
So, yeah, that's how it was.
It wasn't like that when I was in school. They used to dominate when I was in school. That was a different era. You see what I'm saying? Eras flip. You know what I'm saying? So, but I used to be like, I just used to fight. When I get licked, I look around, I don't know who. I'm taking anybody, the first person I see. And after a little while, they stop hitting me. You know what I'm saying? They stop hitting me because it doesn't matter who fucking did it. I'm attacking someone. You know what I'm saying? Until they stop. You know what I'm saying? I'm attacking anybody that I fucking see that when I turn around. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who it is. Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What? And then, because I'm young, obviously they can beat me up. But I'm not stopping. I'm just on them like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So, it got a bit nutty. They tried to do it almost lining up as well, like some of what they used to call the head boys there. You know what I'm saying? Like, want to do it like, because they think that like, they were black boys thinking they were tough and all that. And I'd step out my fucking, I give a fuck. I'd step out the line. I'd make a thingy bob. I didn't give a shit. So they stopped hitting me because I would cause too much of a scene. I didn't give a fuck. I'd make it. I'm not making a scene. I'm looking to do the person. So slap me and walk on when they're doing like called a dinner call. Yeah, they'll be doing a dinner call in the playground and be doing that fuckery still. I just jump out my fucking line. I give a fuck. So, and get the whistle blown on till they stop doing it. You know what I'm saying? The point I'm trying to make is that you got to fight back. That means you're not afraid. But niggas afraid. They're not fighting shit. The only one who they're looking at whether you got on fucking, before they want to fight you, they're looking to see if you got a Louboutins on. You know what I'm saying? If you're working, whether you're wearing Huaraches or fucking Air Forces or 91s, or that's what they're looking at. They want to rate you by what the fuck you can pay for. You know what I'm saying? So you got a whole different mindset happening now. That's not based on anything to do with true grit and true valor. You know what I mean? True bravery and true. It's people. Lots of kids acting as if they're bad. Like, remember I did a show a few weeks ago called Hollywood. It's the Hollywood Effect. They're acting. It's all acting. Most of these guys, when I come from, most people that from certain ends can talk about the ends they're from. But most people wasn't even involved. When you talk, the reason why Nipsey Hussle's got such a large big up because he was an authentic street guy. And he authentically did what he did. He didn't do it knowing that he was going to die, knowing that people would come. You know what I mean? He didn't do it for that. He was doing it because he realized there was another way to do this shit. Flip it. You know what I'm saying? These niggas don't know shit. You know what I'm saying? That's why they turn on each other. And their best friend is white. You never see them turn on white people ever. That's fair. White people ain't taking no liberties. It's only black people. No, because they know that white people have created an environment where you can fuck over a black man and they won't even pay you too much of a mind. The frightening thing is what happened with Nipsey Hussle, that they took this guy out, tried to palm it off as a gang killing, and it never worked. And then there's all the little integrators and collaborators for white power, you know what I'm saying, and white racist power. All the little black collaborators are going, no man, you know what I mean, you can't prove that, no man, and also the little white people that are acting, trying to slip into people's conversation and posing as a black guy and giving this alternative story that, oh yeah, but he was a gang member, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. But we know from the living, breathing state of how we feel about what's happened is that this is what they do. We know that we've known for a longer time. I was talking about this a few years back when I've forgotten his name now, when they killed one of the I think it was Bush or was it Schwarzenegger, who fucking the long time gang member, huh?
Tookie,
yeah, they murdered him. A guy
yeah.
that reformed. They won't let nobody that's dealing with peace that's black out on the road, bro. This is like there because black people are essentially human beings, and human beings are essentially a social creature. And the only politic that works as a social creature is socialism. So what basically what Nipsey Hussle was doing was socialism. But they've made it. You can't listen to Marx and them white man there. You know what I'm saying? You know, they're only the consciousness. They're only the consciousness of white people. You know what I'm saying? You got to listen to your own consciousness, like Marcus Garvey. Marx isn't my fucking consciousness. The fuck you telling me about Marx for, bro? You know what I'm saying? What? They ain't my consciousness. That don't come from my culture or my beginnings. It doesn't come from fuck all to do with me. The fuck am I talking about Marx for? Because they control all the narratives. They control all the media. They control all the colleges. They control all the universities. So you have to chat about it. Because if you don't, then they fucking fail you. Even Julius Malema says the same fucking thing. Write what they want you to write, as they fail you. Because they control everything. But Marx isn't my conscience. He's not my conscience, and he's not my consciousness. None of these guys are. You know what I'm saying? Freud, none of these brothers are black people's consciousness. They're the consciousness of the European. They're the best scholars that the European had to offer while black people were still in slavery. You know, we've got W.E. Du Bois. We've got Kwame Nkrumah. We've got, you know, Stokely Carmichael. We've got loads of people, which is a conscience that nobody fucking mentions. Every time they mention something, you know, white people always bring up communists. Oh, well, communists didn't work. Yeah, because you're white. And that's how white people act when it comes to their little slave life that they live. They enjoy slavery and abuse. They enjoy that way of life. They seem to like people to abuse other people. Like, you know, like there's a Chinese man right now. He wants his people then in China, after all that they've gone through, to work from 9 o'clock till 9 a.m. You know what I'm saying? While and he's a billionaire, while he pays them shit money. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you can tell they're connected to that's why you can tell that, you know, somehow the gene pool is strong within the European mindset or the Caucasian mindset or the Aryan mindset or any of those mindsets that connect to that white being. You know what I'm saying? Because you cannot hope for a human being to live by working 12 hours of each day. You've got nurses and doctors working these insane hours on pittance money, and you've got guys kicking football around for crazy money, bruh. Drug money, bruh. You know what I mean? They're running around with drug money in their fucking hands. And the people that are saving lives and supporting the society as it stands, the teachers and they're shit. Their society is shit the way they've developed it. How the fuck did you develop a society that hates all the people that help humanity and loves all the people that just entertains humanity? What the fuck is that about? It's like being in fucking jail, bro. So every time you're in prison and they said, oh, we've got a film going on in the film room, it's like fucking Oliver fucking Twist. So, you know, not now, because obviously people's got telly in their room in the prisons now, and they got PlayStation. They ain't going to watch no fucking film. But back in the day when there were no films, you know what I mean, there was no PlayStation, any fucking film that came out that they had to show, you run, go watch it. I'm saying, Little House on the fucking prairie, yo, fucking, you know what I'm saying, gone with the fucking wind. Just to get out your cell, you'd go and watch these fucking white movies. Yeah, no, they give a fuck about you. You know what I'm saying? This is what he did. It's like that's where we are now. You know what I'm saying? You got all these fucking murder fucking things that they've created through their software, murder fucking games and killing and murder games. Can you give me a break? They were not the same species as them. You know what I'm saying? As I said, with the socialism and all that, they always talk about their man them. Trotsky. Monday. Man like Trotsky. Yeah, I mean, man like Marx, man like Freud, man like Engel. You understand? Yeah, the man I was Sigmund Freud was a little, you know what I mean? He was on gear. You know what I'm saying? Sigmund Freud was on the gear, bro. He was on the whites, snorting up the whites, bro. He was neat like that. That's what I'm saying. Everybody knows. They have man like Einstein. Every time you talk about the cleverest man on the planet, is a white guy. Really? Okay. If he says so.
So how do you measure intelligence then?
I don't measure it. I'm just, you can tell that it's not, no, white people don't rule. You know what I mean? They set out a system when we was enslaved. The system of IQ was developed when black people was enslaved. How the fuck will we benefit from that? You've got you've got all these things that they're not talking about. The people who helped create IBM, who are black. You have all the people that, come on, bro, this is foolishness. You know, if you still believe that in the 21st century, you're an arsehole. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were never cleverer than us. They were never supreme to us. You know, holding people down by the gun and by torture and murder is not an act of supremacy. You understand what I'm saying? It's an act of vileness and wickedness. That's what it's an act of. So you know, if you want to say white wicked people, then they're not gonna want to consciously call themselves wicked, are they? So supreme is such a beautiful name for murder, rape, and torture and hatred. You know what I'm saying? And they want to call me a racist. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm talking about it. Because what they want, they need fear. So that's why, oh, I'm offended every fucking 5 minutes. Oh, you're transsexual. So what are you? So you're lesbian, but you're a man. Yeah, I'm not. How the fuck can you be a male, but you're lesbian, brother? Yeah, because what the fuck is going on?
There's one brother he came on the show before, Steve. He calls himself a lesbian still,
Yeah.
but he's a man. But he's ramping, or he's ramping. He's joking. It doesn't mean he like gal in it.
Yeah, he might be ramping. You know what I'm saying? But as I said,
There's next money here. I know he's on some real
man, they're
thing.
not playing. They don't. They're not gender specific, and they're all kinds of madnesses. That's not in balance with Earth and the harmony of Earth. Not at all. These are crazy people. Where the fuck did you not come from? Because you've been sporting crazy since God knows fucking when. With your electrodes in people's head, madness has been a fundamental part of the fucking European mindset. Crazy people. There was no madness in Egypt. There was no madness in Africa. Nobody came and wrote about all the mad people them in Africa, but they've been wrote about in Britain. You know what I'm saying? When we were created according to their Bible, does anybody know what day ice was created? Because they're meant to come from the ice age. So when God said, let us make man in our image now and bring forth the creatures and that, when did he bring forth fucking ice? When did he say, on the third day, we shall make ice for the coldness thereof? What day was that, bro? The sixth day? What day was, and we shall make ice for the coldness thereof? What day was that? Because I don't remember that day. I've read it a few times, and I read the second creation, where in the first creation, he made man. You know what I'm saying? And the second trace, he made the animals after. And the next one, he made the man first. And sorry, he made the animals first in the first one, and man after. And then the second one, he made man first and the animals after. So which creation did he make the ice? That's what I want to know. Because there was an ice age, yeah? But in order to have the ice age, where was the ice in the first place? When did he, because he created the sea, the water, the sky, the breathing, the animals, the water, the sky, rain. Where the ice, block of ice come from? You understand? I want to know, where did the ice come from that he made? Yeah? So the ice age must have come after he had made man. So therefore, if he made man before the ice, then the man was black. The man was a solar being driven by that high ball that high ball in the sky that's called a solar ball of energy, which is also the other word for solar. So sun is solar energy, or the other short word for sun is soul. Yeah, SOL. So, and as you know, anything that's driven by the sun is called solar energy. Yeah, or it harnesses solar energy. You know what I'm saying? So you have solar plates. So solar plates, solar lights. You know, anything that harnesses the sun is called what? Solar. So when he created man, they must have been able to harness the sun. So they were the people of soul. They were the people with the solar energy. We harness the sun. We don't reject the sun. These people have to protect themselves from the rays of the sun. So where was you born then? I'm sorry. I'm at a loss. We're in my hypothesis and trying to work out where the fuck you lot came from. Where was you born then? If you're protecting yourself from the very energy that drives this very planet, where did you come from? How did you get here? Because now you're hiding in caves and you're trying to attribute that history of. Hold on a minute. When I was reading the fucking Genesis as well, right? I was looking for these caves that he made as well. Like I said, and on the fifth day, he made us for caves for man to live in it. Yeah, I was looking for that, and I couldn't find. He made us the cave for man to live in it. Yeah. I didn't find that shit in there. Yeah? So I'm still asking people, when did he make the cave? When did the cave come about for man to live in it? You understand what I'm saying? Because he didn't create it in none of the creation story, unless somebody can, tell you and say and text it or say where he made the caves. So this caveman story is from another. It ain't for the men that were created at that time. That's from another creation, then, isn't it? That's from another point in time. Because these people were able to fucking say, Rascal, I'm gonna close there. You know what I'm saying? They was able to say, oh, I'm naked. Oh, I gotta hide. Got a ball up there. Yo, where there? Oh, I'm hiding. Why? Coming out of clothes on. I'm naked. Who they say naked? I don't know. I she ain't tell me. Who me? You're too light. What do you think? Do you think when Eve, if that was the case, Eve went, oh no, like some little fucking European girl. Sorry. If she was a human being, it's a fucking lie. We are talking about me making eat because you wanted to fucking eat it. They're talking about I made you eat it. Where's that argument? I'm saying it's a little fucking fairy story argument that's in there. Nobody argues. What girls that I know, there's plenty of them. You know them. They're not gonna go. The original woman ain't gonna go. I don't know. It's not fair. He made me so that fucking devil. So, or whatever. You know what I mean? Give some constructive fucking. Shit, give us something constructive. Don't give us that bullshit. That's some bullshit. Fuck, she just went, oh no, come on me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like I said, I did, that. So, and this serpent, where did he come from? Where did they come from? You know what I'm saying? Where did the serpent brother come from? Because he was talking and that. He said, boy, you have to eat. So at what point are you, remember, you've got David Icke, who they laughed at in the beginning. The only reason why he rose to prominence is because he was a football star and then he was a TV presenter. So he already had the media spotlight. You know what I'm saying? So they laughed at him at first. He said there's reptilians. He said the white people are coming from reptilian. Now look at these terminologies. They've got this. No, I won't go there just yet. Hold on a minute. I've still got this other bit to do. The Aryans, I'm saying, like, they're a whole nother race of people. I don't know if we were created at the same time either, because that white people have now, especially in America, saying that they're the Aryan blood and the true blood and all this kind of stuff, because it's so, they're only talking about their own rare. Like, remember, it's a hypothesis. I'm trying to make sense of this because it doesn't make sense to me. Right. Black people are essentially unhairy, essentially, yeah? Essentially, black people are not a hairy being across the planets, yeah? Across the entire planet and the planets. Black people essentially are not a hairy being, essentially. The only time they seem to get hairy is when they mix. You know what I'm saying? But essentially, the white and the Caucasian and every race connected to Caucasian grows a whole heap of hair. Like could it be all a gorilla? Could it be all a calling black people monkeys? You know what I'm saying? But black people don't have that amount of hair on their bodies, on their back, and on the back of their neck and shit. So that's another point. You know what I'm saying? Black people's lips. If we're monkeys, where do them lips come from? What species of monkey do they use to give black people them big ass lips? What species of monkey did they use? Because no monkeys have got that. Or is that part of the DNA from the gods that made us? Because remember, I don't believe in that God that's in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole other story that you were missing out on if whether you're black, white, whatever, you continue to want to stick with that, then by rights, you should kill all gay people according to that Bible. But obviously, you're not really run by the Bible. You pick and choose whatever the fuck you want out of it and run with that. And if the white man says, or the government says, or anybody says, fuck that, you just have to roll. Because when they reintroduce pederasty into this country, because remember, white people have already lived through an era of homosexuality and sleeping with young boys and young children. Yeah, they've already lived through a whole legal era of that. You know what I'm saying? So when they want to bring back the era, when they're going to lower the age rate to maybe about 11, and grown men in their 50s can go with 11-year-olds. When they bring that back, you're also going to mutate with that. You're also going to just move on and say, yeah, because they can love too, yeah. Yeah, you're going to find something to excuse it because you're essentially cowards and you're scared. Essentially. not just black people, also the poor white and the working class. They're frightened of their own because they know that they know that deep within them they're wicked and they'll do some of the most wicked and inconceivable things to each other just to live. Yeah. So again, I want to know where these people come from. Now I know they're alien to black. White people are aliens to black. They're foreigners. Yeah. So when I say people that I think white people are aliens, I think they're foreigners to this planet. You know what I'm saying? They don't have real, alien is not naturalized. Yeah, that means they're not natural to the planet. You know what I'm saying? So if you go to a country and you're called an alien, like what they're doing, they're calling the people who they stole the country from in America, and anybody that wants to come into that country that they created with that level of abuse that they've created for the slave race people, they're calling them aliens. Why? Because they don't belong to that country, so they can call them aliens. They have the right to call them aliens. Now, but really, when white people first landed on that fucking rock, what were they? Oh, you know what I mean? No, I was like, I'm kind of looking for an answer, but I'm not looking for an answer. So I can think, whenever somebody said, "Do this, bro," but you know what I mean? I know that it's coming out, but it's just almost like I'm hearing the echo.
Hey, what? Can you read the comments from where you at?
No. I switch them
Okay.
off because they're distracted.
Okay. All right.
What? Say something.
Let me see. I'm gonna say, what planet do you think white people come from then?
I don't know. Remember, there's a planet called. They have a thing that they have on Earth. Yeah, they have a thing that they have on Earth that they call a particular type of behavior. Yeah, that's a good question because it's in line with what we're saying, bro. Yeah. Have you heard of the term draconian?
Yeah.
Was it? Do you know what it usually
That's
means?
like some. There was one brother. When it come to enforcing law or giving out punishments or something, his
Yeah,
punishment was so severe that they named the whole system of like cruel and
that's
inhumane
right.
punishments after him.
Great stuff, bro. See, you're a child. You see, you're a You see what I'm saying? This is why you do what you do, because you're a part of that conscious fucking movement as a youth man, as a younger brother. You know what I mean? Your mind's been on this thing. So these things, it's just in the air. You can draw them out of the air because it's a part of your consciousness. You get what I'm trying to say? You ask another brother, it's not, that's what consciousness is. It's what's in your mindset and what you're aware of. You ask them and they will know what the fuck I'm talking about. But anyway, they think I was asking what kind of roll up is that? Is that draconian? Is that you know what I'm saying? Can you get drunk on that?
Don't ask me a next question like that. Those two, you might embarrass me.
Sorry? No, I knew that, you know what I mean? But, I knew that you draw for something because you're conscious. So even if you didn't answer the consciousness straight, you see your consciousness would have drawn for an appropriate answer. That's the difference. Rather than saying it's a drink. You would have never said, what kind of alcohol is that? You get what I'm saying? That's what I mean. Because I think I'm conscious, but you can ask me stuff that I ain't gonna know. Because none of us knows everything. That's just not how it works. But you get what I'm trying to say. But anyway, I'm gonna draw for something though. You ask me something, and I don't know. I would draw for something that's relative, except if you're asking me a mathematical question, like I'm crazy, man. Yeah, which I don't know nothing about. Yeah. So draconian. There's a term that they use on Earth, yeah, called draconian, which is about being cruel and wicked and vicious towards people, or the rule of wickedness. You know what I'm saying? A dracos or a draconian. Now there's a system. There's a celestial system, a galactical system called, guess what? Dracos. Yeah. So to come from Rome, you're a Roman. You understand what I'm saying? To come from, from Greece, you're a Greek. You know what I mean? To come from England, you're an Englishman. So to come from Dracos, you have to be draconian. You know what I'm saying? You come from Lithuania, you're a Lithuanian. You come from Dracos, you're a draconian. How did the term draconian, being as nobody ever went to Dracos, hit Earth as a wickedness, as a strict wickedness? How did it come to Earth, being as nobody that we have recorded in history has been to a galaxy called Dracos? How did they manage to put the term Dracos on Earth, name it after a man, and it's about being wicked? I don't know. This is what
So you're saying So you're saying at this moment, your best guess is that that's where people come from.
Spot on, bro. Well, I'm not saying all white people. The beings, these wicked beings that manifest inside white people and inside these various races, they come from
Okay.
another place. That's why they're not natural. They're aliens. They're not naturalized for Earth. Black people are naturalized for Earth and the sun. We're naturalized. We're not naturalized for ice. That's why them boy they can do all kind of snowboarding. We're not snowboard because we're not naturalized for ice. We're naturalized for the sun, bro. We're naturalized for the solar system. That's what we're naturalized for this planet before it got fucked up. Yeah, before there was ice. Before when as the maps that they found of Antarctica had no fucking ice. Who do you think white people was living in that type of heat? Bro, they came and lived in caves hiding from the fucking heat, bro. That's the only reason why you live in caves, because if you're naturalized, you build shit from leaves, bro. You get me? You build shit from shit that you see because you're naturalized. You know, oh yeah. But if you're in a cave, there's something you're hiding from because there's sun out there. You know what I'm saying? There's sun out there, you can just bathe. You don't even have to. Why do you even have to live anywhere in a cave, brother? Bro, sometimes, have you ever seen black people? They don't, when the sun's out, they want to go in their house, bro. What you talking about? Why would they want to go in a cave that's cold and dark, bro? That's not how we function, bro. You know what I'm saying? We don't live like that. So it doesn't seem as if it's credible to say the original human beings functioned from a cave. It doesn't seem credible to me. And they got caves all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure they got, I think they found some in Rhodesia or Rwanda or something like that. But there's a difference between going into a cave and drawing in the cave and living in the cave. You know what I'm saying? It's a bit different. They've got underground caverns. I mean, I could go on that go for miles. So something would have happened on Earth why people had to live under the Earth, isn't it? Either there was nuclear fallout. Like if there's nuclear fallout today, you know what I'm saying? And for people to survive, they'd have to go under Earth if they stayed on Earth. So I don't know. But why? What would stop them from living on top of the Earth? Unless they were born under the Earth and they're under the Earth people. But because they've told you foolishness about fairy stories about some chick falling asleep and getting kissed and waking up, and some next chick living in a house full of horny little small men. You know what I'm saying? And all stuff like that. Because they're telling you all this stuff, you've got stupidness running around in your head. I mean, you've got fantasies and fallacies running around in your head as reality. And it's not. It's Hollywood. I mean, everything they do in Hollywood. Tell me, I don't know, anybody wants to put up their hand again to tell me when the last movie they saw, when a white policeman emptied nine, no, let's start from 8. That was the one, the guy that shot in the back. Let's start from there. I mean, even 8 is too much. Let's start from 6. Can anybody tell me 6 is a lot in a movie to put in a man, and it's not a submachine gun? Yeah, that a movie where some policeman has put 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 shots in one boy. Can anybody tell me what that movie is? Because I watch a lot of cop movies, and all the top ones I've probably seen. I've never seen that. Also, I've never seen anybody in TV get away with doing that in a TV show, because that guy on TV in Hollywood land would seem like a madman. Yeah, but in reality, a human being, a so-called government agent, can do that to another human being, and nothing happens. It's just normal. Yeah, these are they're countries run by animals. You know what I'm saying? Because only an animalistic government would, a people who move towards animalistic behavior would not see that as a terrible. Well, they can't, because it's in their nature. They've done it. They've hung us. They've burnt us to death. So it's in there. It's deep within the DNA. It's deep within the DNA. They're not good people. They're not nice people in their DNA. Every continent they've gone on, they've murdered them. They've murdered in original inhabitants. And why is it always the original inhabitants are black? And why is it always they're always trying to paint them as red and different colors from black? But when you look at some of their ancient art and all that, when they're talking about the people of Caribbean, they were fucking black. They weren't no red fucking Indians. You know what I mean? The Indians that Montezuma or one of them fucking brought back to their queen and whatever, you know what I'm saying, shit that is. You know what I'm saying? It was dark skin, not red, not fucking, you know what I'm saying? That's after they get there. They always mix in and then call themselves the same thing. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing they ever do. That's the nature of how they operate across the planet. So I don't know who the fuck is who. The Morais weren't originally fucking white. They come from dark brown skin. Now you look at the children are looking like the Brazilian children now. They're just mixing in and they're taking over the culture, doing all the dances and all that, and doing all the cultural things and saying they're the same people that are miles away from the original people. That's colonization. And that's what happens when the virus hits you. You get your body gets colonized and it chains you until you die. Bloody cheap. I'm saying when Cecil Rhodes in 1890, when Cecil Rhodes went to fucking South Africa, he fucked it up. Look what he did to the people then of the country. They live in shitholes, and what they do is the same what they do everywhere. They make the rich abuse the poor. Everywhere they go, they do the same thing. Come on, this is not racism. What they're gonna do now? What they tend to do when I talk like this is emotionalize the whole thing and then say about this, that, and then they never say, well, yeah, that's what we've done. Look what you done, though. Yeah, racist. Look what you did. What did we do? You kill each other in the streets. Yeah, a little bit. That's what you taught us. Everything that we're doing now, as I said it when I did the Hollywood Effect show, we learned from you. You were doing it long before we were doing it. You know what I'm saying? Everything that they're doing, they were doing long before we even picked up on it. You know what I'm saying? The things they teach from us is nature. Stuff they nick their music. They're not nicking our guns from us. They're not looking violence from black people. They're not stealing swearing and illicit behavior and drunkenness. And they're not stealing that from black people. They're stealing all our arts. They're stealing all our forms. They're stealing that and giving us back, like what they did to the Indians, giving them what's that? Simeon Ikua, the British fucking captain, who contaminated the blankets. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, as a present to the Indians, North American.
You're saying with the smallpox blanket.
Oh, these people are fucking callous and they're ice cold, bruv. You know what I'm saying? These people, them. You understand? What type of being was they, or is that? Who are they? You know what I mean? If somebody did that now, but remember, it's only when black people do it. Oh, he's an animal. He's a fucking animal. Look at him. He's a fucking animal. And then when the white man goes in and murders churchgoers, no, he didn't go in. He didn't go and gangbang. The fucking coward didn't run along the fucking LA Crip land and try to murder them there. He went into a quiet little church with grown-ass people who have probably never seen or fired a gun in his life. This fucking little white coward murdered them and was called a white whatever. No, there was no.
You talking about the Daily Mirror? We called him an angelic boy.
No, not that boy. I'm talking the one before him, the little white boy in America. Somebody will type it in. The little white boy with the little Beatles haircut, the little blonde Beatles haircut. That brother there.
He had the bowl trim. His head looked like he'd been cut with a bowl.
Haircut. Yeah, and the one they gave him a what's name as well. They gave him a
Burger King.
Yeah, and bought him Kentucky chicken. Yeah, this animal.
Dylan Roof.
That's the brother. You see, because it's all out.
We got Shaka G in the chat.
They all know.
Truth, man. I'm big enough the people who said the name in the chat still.
Yeah, man. Because that's what consciousness is. I'm saying it's always going to be in these people's mind. I've got lots of stuff in my mind, so I'm going to remember some stuff and forget some stuff because I'm a human being, and I'm not writing it all down. I'm not writing it all down and setting it all out. So sometimes I'll forget, but as you say the name, I know who it is, and you know it is, and they know it is. As I mentioned, and you mentioned the Bowl Cup, it snaps into their fucking head because it's a part of their history. It's a part of their liberty. They must know it. It burns them to their very soul, to their very core, and they can't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? They can't do nothing about it. They have to watch this filth, this animal, yeah, murder all these poor church-going individuals. He didn't run on the block and run down and try to murder the Crips and the Bloods. No, he went and murdered innocent church going people, normal everyday Joe Blow. Not a word. If that was a black man, God knows if he'd ever find the prison.
Why you think that is as well? Still, for the man that when it come like when they want to do a racial thing and murder people, it's, like you said, like even the recent one was in the mosque. It's like where people are expected to be non-violent and like passive and like that, where they're probably angry at the people them that's keeping up fuckery on the road, like doing the most violence. You get me? That's what they're probably angry at. But they don't go where those people are expected to be and try and lick them down. I don't unless there has been something I ain't heard of still.
No, because they're psychotic by nature. They're cowards by nature. This is why they call the gun the great equalizer. Equalizer to what? They created the gun. What is their equalizer? White people created the gun and they call it the great equalizer. What the fuck did they equalize it with? And who did they use it on to equalize themselves with? You understand? They're arrogant and they're aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Don't be fooled by good morning. And they don't have no loyalties. They only work for whatever it is that's in front of them. You know what I'm saying? Like right now they're working to get rid of their own self. You know what I'm saying? None of them, like, they've got all these guys around them with earning billions of pounds and paying them shit money, and they're still working. And all of them want to be like the billion. Instead of they teaching you all this self. You know what I'm saying? They're teaching you all this self. Be yourself, be for self, do for yourself, get yourself, because they want to separate you into all these individuals that they can destroy. We're not. Human beings are not made for themselves. Human beings are not made to just think about their individual self. They're made to think about themselves amongst other people. These people will think about themselves, just for themselves. If it's not just for them as individuals, it's just for them as a race. So the rest of us can go to fucking hell. You know what I'm saying? They kill, like I said, they don't look at a murder of a black person as a monster, but they will look at a murder of a white person and the little guy that guy the other day with the drugs and the little girl died and the girl dying of an overdose. He's a monster. But this guy who kills 8 people in a church, how many he killed? He ain't a monster. He's get given Kentucky Fried Chicken and a bulletproof vest. So even when even in the way they show you that they give a fuck about black people. You know what I'm saying? You got people in South Africa. They create Mandela and saying, if they love Mandela, Mandela was a fucking put. With all respect, you know what I'm saying? I like Mandela. I've got his book and all that, but in terms of what, I'm not talking about him as what everybody wants to love and wants to wet themselves over. I'm talking about what the fuck did he do? Because when he died, South Africa was still fucked. It was just fucked by a different types of person. Black people were fucking it now. They all become fucking nepotistic and fucking fed all their families, their individual families, and watch a fucking place fall a fucking part again. So till they have to sack one of their presidents, they just left us in such a fucking mess. You know what I'm saying? And they want everything their way. Oh, you can't take your land back after we've taken it from you without giving us money. We didn't take it. Yeah, but what? You know what I'm saying? They find all these things to say because inherently they're cruel. Inherently they want what they want. They want what they want. And they believe that they're a better class of people because they live off a system that they created and held us back from. We don't like capitalism. Black people are not born into a capitalism is about capitalizing and ruining and abusing people. That's what we don't come. That's why they don't like Nipsey. And if you check to most black people across America and Africa and all that, they're not about fucking ripping people off so that people can, they're about, when they want to be capitalistic, they are. But when people are trying to save, the whole idea of saving the poor people automatically becomes social. And we're not talking anything to do with any of them fucking white socialists, them. This is what they try. This is what any other argument as the hundreds I've had with white people about being a socialist. It's like they only see it from the eyes of a white man and some of their failed economies that white people have run. You understand what I'm saying? Black people can only live socially because otherwise they're self-destructing. We're not that gene of people. And when you're mixing the genes like that. So you've got a lot of fucking toing and forthing and backing and fronting because of that gene. Because that gene is now inside of the black gene. They're mechanical. They're not driven by the same things we're driven by. You know what I mean? They can go undercover for years and befriend people for years and then turn around and fucking kill them all. Or, you know, turn around and lock them up after befriending kissing their babies and befriending their friends. And, they've showed you all this stuff on their Al Pacino played one.
You're talking about Donnie Brasco.
Donnie Brasco, sorry. Yeah, that's right. Donnie Brasco.
Johnny Depp. That was Johnny Depp still.
Yeah, sorry. Who was Serpico was Al Pacino. I can't remember who he was. You know, he was the guy who's trying to expose the bad cops. I think that was Serpico. Anyway, yeah, you're right. Donnie Brasco and that. Oh, this is what they do, and they teach each other to do this sort of deception. You know what I mean? They haven't found any other way of doing things. Everything they do, this is how they set their system up. You're telling me there's no other system, like this is the system that you want to work. So, and they believe in their own system. So you understand what I'm saying? Even like to me and you, we don't have no say. I mean, I think it's cruel. Hundreds of thousands of people think that's a despicable way to live. That you're going to live to lock up some man in a system that you've created that's abusive to the people, them, to live with them, sleep with them, eat with them, share food with them, eat with their children, and then lock them up. Oh, how can you live with yourself, brother? You're not real. You're not a person, bro. So is that what the government does? It turns you into this thing. Well, it already turned black people into a thing, so we're clear that they turned free people into things. We're clear about that. That's an obviousness in my theory, isn't it? They turn people into things, and then they use them as things rather than as people. You know what I'm saying? Then they went to Australia, and the people of Australia was darker than some of the darkest people that you've ever found. Yeah, look at them now. You got black girls now saying that they're like. You got black girls here with their long blonde white people hair, yeah, saying that it's like we're like Aborigines. I didn't realize that we'd become so fucking stupid. I was like, it's like Aborigines. You can't tell me nothing. I was in this argument with this girl. You can't tell me nothing. It's Aborigines. You can't fight. You don't talk about my black hair. It's the Aborigines who've got it. Yeah. The Aborigines have got bloody afros, bro. They don't have long, straight, white, blonde hair. You fucking idiot. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is what the girls are rolling with, bro. They're trying to pass it off as a black thing.
We see they're trying to say that they're not copying white people.
Yeah, they're trying to say that it's a black.
It's the next set of black people they're copying.
Yeah.
They're trying to say it's the next set of black people that
they're trying to be.
That's
what they're saying. Yeah, everything comes from us. White people have got long. You know what I'm saying? There's a big difference between the hair on a poodle and the hair on an Afghan. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got the same types of hair. So you're dealing with the color only, but your type of hair is different. You know what I'm saying? And the blonde was introduced by the white people. There weren't no blonde-headed people when the white Australians got to Australia. They slip into the gene pool and created that hybrid there. What are you talking about? The original, when you see pictures of look up any of the images of the original family of Australia. They're darker than me and you, bro. You know what I mean? By far, they're like African dark, African Nigerian Gold Coast dark, bro. And look at them now. They're mixed race. This is what they do. And they turned a country into a prison. So the people who are living in Australia are basically criminals. Their children, and every single one of them says that if you ask any of them, oh well, my ancestors were wardens, not discounting the people who have obviously emigrated there from England after that first breed had murdered off the Australians and left only a few hundred. You know what I'm saying? That's all they ever seem to do when white people land somewhere, what they want. They just murder people off. You know what I mean? They've written it in their history, and then little fool, stupid people in fucking Hyde Park Corner and want to come and try and find a way around it and try to style it out. And well, what black people did this. Black people have never inhabited anyway by murdering off the fucking indigenous people in nowhere in history that we can mention. So they point to people like Idi Amin. And guess what school that Idi Amin went to? He went to fucking school in England. So they taught in their ways of war and and that's what he brought back to fucking Uganda. You know what I'm saying? So
he was trained in the British Army, innit?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They called him. How could he be called the King of Scotland? How could a black man in Africa be called the King of Scotland? In the movie, at least. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck. They only teach war and stuff like that. They remember, this is the they we're talking about. That's when you hear the term they, that's what you're talking about. You're talking about these aliens, these foreigners to this world that have come and have unnaturalized the world and are now creating an artificial life form that they want to work for them as they start to eradicate the original life forms that were here when they got here. God knows where they come from because they're such fucking liars.
Yo,
They're
X,
always
9:30 now. Let me know, cause the people them is itching to jump on the thing, you know.
yeah.
Yeah. Confrontation is start. We
Another,
say we got a while.
another 15 minutes. Yeah, I won't even done
Uh,
it. I'll give them. They can start before 10 because they're probably gone for a minute.
yeah.
If it
Rest.
doesn't, I'll fill in the spaces.
Uh,
Yeah. So no, hit me up at 9:45 and then we'll open it up. So we was on. Yeah. So I was. Yeah. So I was saying they created that colony in Australia. Yeah. They went to Australia, threw out all the fucking black people, murdered them, raped them, kicked around, chopped off their heads, and kicked them around like footballs. They're inhumane. The word for inhumane is non-human. They are alien to the planet and to the places that they've been. They were alien to Australia. They were alien to North America. They were alien to South America. They were alien to South Africa. They were alien to West Africa. They were alien to North Africa. Right? They were alien to bloody. When you see these places that they've changed the name for, where they've gone, they were alien to Greece as well. Fuck them. They were alien to Europe. All the original Europeans are black. So what happened to them? See, there's no story of any blacks in humans. Remember, if blacks were the first people of the planet, according to my theory, then in that theory, we should know where the fuck happened to black people. I can't find out what happened to them. We've got all these black knights and black, black Madonna and all this black stuff, but no black people. They say the Druids were white. The blacks would have had to have been black that far back. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I don't know what creation they were in. If it was, because the Bible is not proper. The people that stuck in the Bible will watch themselves, their being self-destruct. All this soul stuff that they're living through is foolishness. They'll come back as pigeons. They don't know nothing about nothing. This is not intelligent. You know what I'm saying? This idea, what they're dealing with is not. Yeah, you can have this idea that you want to be cool and cool to people and that, but you cannot have a man who lives like a foreigner. He lives with his plane and his this and his that and his running for money, and the people in the area that he administers to are starving to death. Same thing in Africa. The same thing. All of these people are aliens. They're not of that. They look like your color. They act like they're your color, but their behavior can tell you they're not original people. You know what I mean? Any of these people that you see with this ultra arrogance, it comes from that DNA. It comes from a foreign DNA. It doesn't come from a human being. Human being is to do with humility, human. Humus, black. Humus, sorry, black. Black earth. Humility, human. Humble, human. You know what I mean? These are connective words. You know what I'm saying? Humus, black, human. What are we talking about? Not human as in hue with a color, man. Just human. Hummus, black. Black man. Not color man. Black. You know what I'm saying? Man. Not even color man, just man. You know what I mean? There was no color man. There was no reason for the term human. It was just man who was human. You know what I'm saying? That's what he was. Later on, these other kinds of men were developed. You know what I'm saying? Like mankind would develop. You know what I'm saying? But if you're still stuck in the Bible and fairy stories and Santa Claus and all that, this is what I'm saying is absolutely ridiculous. It's like the same thing with David Icke. What I'm saying is like, it's like, wow, this guy's nuts. That's what I'm saying to those type of people. But the people who are conscious have something to think about, have a different, have something to look at when they're thinking. And what they'll be scared of is coming outside of the dead thinking and saying, for fuck's sake, my man's on a different trip, cuz. He's on something else, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, his thing is not the normal thing, bro. You know what I'm saying? You hear all that. You know what I'm saying? But it's not like, there's nothing fantastic about it all. It's just coming to terms with reality and having a mindset that's not being driven and governed by the white media. That's by the media, because remember, media just means to me white people. It doesn't mean, so even when I used to say to you, oh, you must always say the white media, it's just the media, but media means white. You know what I'm saying? It's that it comes from their town or their township or their race of people or whoever. It comes from them. So I don't know what it meant in terms of them being media, but that's what it's called. You know what I'm saying? That's what white people have named in their mother tongue the channel that they use to brainwash and control everybody else and program everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And then they hide all the other stuff. You know what I mean? So now they're getting rid of conspiracies on the internet. I told you 15 years ago that's what they were going to do. I said you better get on this internet quick. You'll have recordings of me saying that. You better get on this internet thing quick because they're gonna come as they usually do because they're a slave race and they're gonna take it from people and make out like it belongs to them. You know what I'm saying? And make out like what they're doing is good for them. I remember when you could go on the internet, there was nowhere. It was given to them freely. And they've turned it into a commodity and they've nicked it as they nick every fucking thing else. So you could imagine, as I said to people before, if there was another planet that they found tomorrow, they'd find a way to prove to you that these people are trying to kill them, and then they go and murder them all and take whatever if they got some new ore that helps you to travel through time or some shit like that. That's what they do. Because they're never ever the aggressor and they're never ever in the wrong and they never murder people unjustly and they never lock up people unjustly and they never lie. So you got to be, you have to understand that white people. They never lie. You know what I'm saying? And then you got that Dracula. Remember, you've got Remember, so there's another connection. You've got Draconian, as I've talked about, the galaxy called sorry, not galaxy, era in the constellation called Dracos. Yeah, you have the term Draconian, yeah, meaning wicked and bad. You know what I'm saying, and horrible. And, you know what I mean, as a Latin stroke English stroke Germanic term. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a white person's term. You know what I mean? To talk about wickedness. And then you got Dracula. How are all these words just haphazardly interlinked? You get me? Like, it's just ridiculous how you can just link these words up. I'm not doing it. I didn't make it up. These words have been here before I even was born. So I'm saying, how did these words come about? Now, this brother that they got this name called Vlad the Impaler, you know what I'm saying? And big up to Rose for some serious research. Yeah, respect for that. You know what I'm saying? Good stuff. Yeah. You done know it going already. But yeah. So yeah. So he was another white man. he just murdered people like all the Lenins did. You know what I'm saying? The Stalins didn't. You know what I mean? And the Hitlers did. I remember. What you have to understand is that people keep saying Hitler didn't kill anybody. What everybody must need to show me. Somebody tell me who Hitler killed, because I can't remember seeing that on the telly. I can't remember in the history books seeing who Hitler had killed. Yeah, I can't remember seeing who Stalin had killed. Yeah, because I know who. I've seen some of the footage of who, you know what I'm saying, Muhammad Ali did fight and knock out, and you know what I mean. I've seen some of the footage of, World War One and World War Two, and I've seen hundreds of soldiers, people out in the beaches and all this kind of stuff. And I see hundreds of fucking soldiers. Never once saw Stalin or Churchill or any of them man there killing anyone. You know what I'm saying? So don't let them mediate you and media into their thinking. Yeah. Hitler was created by people. It was people that killed the Jews, not Hitler. It was the people who wanted him to kill the Hitler and used him to tell them to kill the people who killed the people. The people killed those people. Yeah. Trump was voted in by people. He didn't vote himself in. He didn't jump out of a plane or out a special alien aircraft and land as a president. Yeah. He was voted in by those people who wanted all the things you've seen happening now in America to happen. So why are they blaming Trump when these are the people who wanted him in and supported him to get there? I don't understand. Don't let them fool you with their media now. Keep mentioning his name separate, and nobody's coming on and telling him bigging him up. Nobody's coming to front and bigging him up, but yet he's still a president. He's not impeached. He's not been thrown out. Don't let them fool you with their stupidness. It's smokes and mirrors. It's Hollywood, man. You know what I mean? Like you fall for it. So, fucking same old trick. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they took this fucking boat to America, landed on Plymouth Rock, as they said, in the 1700s. You know what I'm saying?
got a bit sick and that. The humans that were on the humans that was on that rock what they landed on, nursed them back to health, showed them how to how to pick right types of food, got them out, showed them how to look after themselves. And the white people then paid them back by murdering them off, raping them, stealing their land, and killing their livestock. That's what they paid them back with. So you can't trust a people whose DNA is littered with that type of behavior. You can't trust. Remember, if they say that if you got a CV and you've been sacked this amount of times, you know what I'm saying? They'll say, well, you're not employable. You know what I'm saying? If you committed this amount of crime, you know what I'm saying? If you stole a lot and then you want to work for the treasury, they say, no, you're not employable. You stole too much money. But we must look at them and forget that they have a past. They have a past of cruelty, wickedness, and barbarity towards people who are black across the planet. We're not talking about in England. We're not talking about in America. We're not talking about in Australia. We're talking about all across the planet on every land space where black people are. White people destroy them. So I don't understand what it is you think I'm being racist about. You know what I'm saying? When we can document all these times and all the things that you've documented yourselves, but have hidden from your average population. So when you talk to the average population, man, he don't know shit about what his own people have done to other people for him to want to come into my conversation when he feels like, want to touch my hair when he feels like. He doesn't understand where he gets that authority from, or that arrogance from. He doesn't understand where he gets it from. He doesn't realize that it's backed by that type of wickedness, by that type of savagery and brutality towards the human race on this planet. You know what I'm saying? So the Dracula, you know what I'm saying, is a real brother that liked to murder people. And I don't know whether he drank blood or not, but he was the one that they based Dracula off of. But I also believe that Dracula is about something to do with that particular DNA gene, and the drinking of blood, like the drinking of rare meat, the eating of rare meat with blood in it, the blood sacrifice. And I believe it was to their types of people, their types of alien race. That's it. But a lot of you won't be ready for this stuff because it's too far fetched for most of you. You know what I'm saying? A foolishness now talk because we don't want wind up on yourself and do it for fuckery, still like picnic. Most of us are living like fucking kids. We're living like grown up 11-year-olds to us. Like, you think a big man thing, when people say big man thing, you think a big man thing this? You're fucking retarded. Most of black people are fucking retarded as fuck. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got no fucking sense. And most of us are focusing on pussy and fucking foolishness and what we can buy from white people. We're not a fucking sense. We're watching our people them be, with no schooling and no education across the planet. And the singers them are just singing about what them can get and who's bad minding them. They give a fuck. So they become. So it doesn't matter what artist, because the artist is black. Listen to what he's singing. If he keeps talking about himself, about how other people are bad minding, if he keeps talking about what he's buying and what he's getting and where am I gonna get and how great he is, he's not of you. You know what I'm saying? He's moved across his DNA to supplement somebody else's. He's not about your people anymore, because we are socialists by nature. If you want to give it a term, we're human by nature, and human beings don't do that. Fuck the word socialist. So that's some fucking white fucking creation. You know what I'm saying? We're human by nature, and human beings don't fuck each other over for fun. This human being does, because it's got that DNA of that fucking reptilian human being or that draconian human being inside it, because they're rapists. They've gone all across the continent over the past 1,000, 2,000 years and raped the fuck out of everyone and put their gene pool amongst everyone to act like them. They've uplifted the light-skinned person and pushed down the dark-skinned person on every continent. How's it happen on every continent, bruv? You know what I'm saying? If they're not supposed to be these things, they're not supposed to be some decent. How's it happen? How come they're? When somebody said I'm racist, I said they're racist by nature. So how comes on every continent that British and their descendants that they've murdered and raped off and castigated and pushed down the blacks of every continent across the planet? How you work that fuck? This is what the internet's done. It's opened up this big place so you can see more of the world and you realize, hold on a minute, this ain't just happened to us as Africans. This happened to every dark-skinned person who was the original seeded of this planet across the whole entire planet. What are you talking about? You think these people are good people? Is that what you're hoping that in like 25 years time, when they've created new AIs, there's going to be black people around to do what? You know what I'm saying? When they fucked up the earth enough so that, and with the global whatever they want to set and all that, you think, hey, Listen, if I go live under earth, I go back to a cave, you know. You understand? Yeah, either that or they're gonna have to block out the sun. And I remember once somebody said that, you know, somebody was when the artists were more conscious and less consumer based, you know what I'm saying? They used to talk about stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? The artists now are consumer based artists. They're artists selling. They're artists selling white produce. They're artists selling. They're artists buying into and selling European produce back to its own people. People ain't got enough. That's why they murdered Nipsey. Anybody on this planet that celebrates peace and celebrates the delivery and the sharing of wealth amongst the people, they will kill them or him or her. You know what I'm saying? Because they're murderers. They're not fair-minded people. Their justice system is fucked up. You know what I'm saying? They create justice so that only the rich can get justice and the poor must go to jail. You know what I'm saying? Few stupid rich go to jail, but the majority of rich find ways around it. So it's a system designed for this reptilian order of people. The people who adhere to their reptilian order of living, they will say, but the black people that do, they'll still fuck them up. They don't give a fuck about them. They don't need to worry about them. Fuck up Bill Cosby or fuck up anyone of you lot that think you can get to the top and then switch on them. You know what I'm saying? They just weren't able to do it to Nipsey Hussle. You know what I mean? Even though they're trying through their media, the media is losing its power. So within the next 5 years, they're going to try a new hustle. They put crack in the communities. They put guns in empty vans in our communities. They put guns in paper shop and newspaper shop for the owners to sell in our community. Talk about it come from Russia, it's because of the European Union over. No, they're doing it because it's all a plan across the planet. Every community where black people live across the entire globe has got guns in it that the people who lived in it would not have been able to afford before drugs. You know what I'm saying? The guns in Jamaica, some of them couldn't afford shoes and they had $3,000 guns running around it. You know what I'm saying? This is what they do. Because we are not balanced. As long as they keep education from us and shut us out from the schools, we'll not be able to balance ourselves well enough to understand what they're doing to us. Just like what they did to their own. Just like this, because they're a slave race. They're a land-owned race. They're a lord and master race. They have to own their wives. They own their children. Now they're moving to a well, they don't know what the fuck they want. They're so fucking confused. Oh, I'm a man, I'm a woman. I'm a lesbian man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a gay woman, woman. I'm gay, but I'm not a lesbian. I'm gay. Like, but I thought that was mean. No, I'm gay though, but I'm a lesbian. No, but I thought gays are the man then. No, but we're all gay. I'm just lesbian, but I'm a man. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? I'm sexually unambiguous. I'm sexually fucking anything. Call me what you want. I'm going to go into the kids' toilet because I'm 73 and I'm a child. Yeah, I choose what age I want to be. I'm 70 and I'm a kid. I'm going into the children's toilet, you know what I mean, to play with some kids because you know what I mean, I can because I feel kiddish. You know what I'm saying? This is the madness that you lot think is sanity. This psychotic mindset that's happening to the naturalized people of the earth. They're seeing all this stuff happening and have to deal with it. Means you're conquered, bro. Means your whole entire race has been conquered by a set of aliens, alien-minded people who have their own sensibilities and have their own laws and rules. You know what I mean? The Christian ruling is gone. It's gone back. State, thou shalt not steal. They steal as fuck. Thou shalt not rob it. Rob as fuck. Thou shalt not commit adultery. They commit adultery as fuck. They're not Christians at all. They can only hold on to stuff for a little bit of time. That natural DNA comes into play and they'll be as wicked as fuck. Remember I told you. Anywhere you see them, they're going to be a wicked. Anywhere you see them. And the whisperers, you see all the stuff, all the dissension that you get from our communities, they're the whisperers. And their kind is the whisperers. So there are black people who are just like them, who are also the whisperers. They will whisper in your ear, like, yeah, don't let them say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you watch Big Nasty and all that, you know, a lot of wind up and all that. You watch all these programs that and it's all about winding someone up. It's all about saying something derogatory to somebody so that they can have to control their feeling of shame or their feeling of guilt. Or you know what I'm saying? It's their game. It's their pranks. It's the same. The prank, you make your mum nearly get a heart attack. You know what I'm saying? All these things I'm saying now, obviously I'm going to say it over and over because they're a thread running through everything that I say. You know what I'm saying? If you leave the planet to the European species, within a few hundred years, you'll have a place like Mars. They do not like people. You see the building burning down, the Notre Dame? Everybody's, all the millionaires are coming out to put money and they'll watch a whole fucking nation of people starve and not give them tuppence. You know what I'm saying? They're people who love machines. They're a race that love things. So they only appreciate you when you're a thing. So that's how we ended up as human beings, as things to serve white people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mad thing, yeah. Yeah, 10 minutes too now still. So we got the first guest on still. Can you tell me cool too, you get me? You saying ready?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. Yeah, it's all good.
Alright. Let me introduce him still. This is James SC, James Speaker's Corner. He's one of the prominent brothers who go down and challenges a lot of the Muslims on their beliefs in Speaker's Corner still. But right now he's representing the great white hope for the white people. You're gonna try and get some redemption for white people right now still. So do your thing, James. Take over. I'll put my mic on mute.
Hey, I've taken my mic off mute. Hi, Leon, and hi, Dr. X. Yeah, I just wanted to maybe fact check you on a couple of things.
Okay.
I think the first one is this theory about Draco being and Dracos and somehow like a draconian being named after the star. Like maybe the thing is that the star, kind of the Dracos star, wasn't named the Dracos star until about 800 years after Dracos, the Athenian legislator, was alive. So the word draconian is named after the Athenian legislator from 200 BC, whereas the Dracos star was, named, hundreds of years later.
I'm not aware of that. What I'm making the relevance between is wickedness. So I don't know which way around it was. I'm saying how comes that and that is together? You know what I'm saying? And why would somebody name, if my name is wicked as a human being, why would another human being see it right to name a star wicked? If Dracos as a wicked, a totalitarian human being on the planet Earth was in existence, why would you then name a star after him if you wasn't as a race wicked anyway?
So the Greek Dracos was an Athenian, and that was his name. But then the star, sort of the Draco star, that was named by a Roman person. So right, Draco in Latin means dragon. It doesn't mean mean kind of named after the Dracos, the Greek legislator. So they're different languages.
Right. So we're going to fact checking here. What I'm saying to you is that that's not the point. The fact is not that we're not historical. We're not talking about history. And me and you, we're not in a historical argument. My stance is that people of the European state, are wicked by nature and racist by nature, right? So in saying that and trying to back that up, so when you're doing all that, it doesn't change what I just said. The guy's name, the language, who mentioned language? And it's nothing to do with that. The fact this guy, now he's flipped it around to say one came before the other. But the word draconian means a wicked guy. So if the Greek legislator was a good guy, why would then draconian follow on to be a wickedness? And then why, and go back again, why then would the star be named after something that's also to do with a guy that was, as a legislator, I could imagine him having that name and passing it on to be wicked. He was like, somebody would say, oh, like that's Hitler-esque.
Okay, well, let's move on from this then. But the constellation Draco is named for dragon from Latin. It's not named after the Greek guy. But let's move on from that. So,
but you're still missing the point. You're using stuff to say, well, and you're trying to nullify my point. And I'm saying that remember, mine's a theory. So therefore, you can always come with these facts. But what you can't change is the relationship they all have. That's what I'm saying. We're talking about a feeling people who I call the black people, who I call the original human beings, who sense other stuff a little bit further than you lot who are from another type of species of humanity or human beings who look at the world in a whole different way. We are more spiritual. You love buildings and things. You know what I'm saying? You're a thing-loving race. So I'm going to look at it from the way I feel about stuff. Like I said, how is it? The question is, you're going to go, well, that's not the right language, and that was done before that. But the connection stays the same. Because whether it was dragon, we don't, there's no good dragons. Mostly dragons You know what I mean? Even in the Lord of the Rings, they're not about good people. You know what I'm saying? Even though the dragon and the serpent has various points in history that people look at and say, oh, it has a relevant in history, but dragons on the whole are not necessarily good. But anyway.
Okie dokie. Yeah. So yeah, like secondly, I think it's worth pointing out that for most of human history, kind of tribes of humans and nations of humans were very cruel and exploitative, kind of across the world. You can find examples of massacres and enslavement and kind of small-scale genocides and that sort of thing. So this isn't a behavior particular to white people. This is unfortunately something that's in humanity that has only started being kind of rectified or reduced comparatively recently.
You just swept it and just named them as, you know, all these genocides. I know about that. I mentioned Pol Pot and yeah, there's stuff that's happened.
No, but even far before kind of the modern era.
Well, you talk about the Mongols and stuff like that. I mean, you can go back as well. But what I'm saying to you is that there's a group of people that existed, who are black people, who existed without no prisons. You know what I'm saying? They existed without no prisons, and it didn't seem as if they found anything to do with any sort of penal colony within their existence. So there was obviously a group of people that existed without that type of wickedness that was around them. You know, until later when they were toppled by the invading force. You know what I'm saying? And then we start to see from that point on the wickedness that you talk about is in time, because all of this is in over hundreds of thousands of years.
Yeah, but even amongst African people, though, there was wars. There was slavery. For example, the Pygmy people of Congo were enslaved by the Bantu people.
Yeah, that's after that
happened before colonialism.
Yeah, but no, that's before. Yeah, but white people got there though. You're talking about before colonialism. Before they enslaved the people of Africa, white people were already there. You know, by hiding, what white people tend to do, they hide themselves in the timeline. They don't tell you where they actually arrived at certain places until you go to other people who are deep historians who tell you when white people first arrived in Nigeria, when white people first arrived in the Gold Coast. They only get there because white people, in my opinion, in my theory, they're whisperers. They're troublemakers. They go when they stir trouble. They do it amongst themselves for jokes. You know what I mean? It's a normal way to behave. We are not designed that way, though, even in our modern time. So the point I'm making is that, yes, there might have been these people doing that. The slavery in Africa was nothing like, it wasn't a thing slavery. The slavery that you executed, this human slavery that you did in the West to black people, these human beings, was nothing like ever recorded anywhere else. The slavery in Africa was nothing to do with that. So to name the two as the same type of slavery, that's like saying wage slavery and chattel slavery is the same. They're two different types of slavery. So African slavery and Western slavery are completely different types of slavery. They've got different norms and values in terms of how they executed the wars that started in Africa. You know what I'm saying? The way they fought was different to how they didn't wipe people out and enslave people and take away everything from them. They didn't do stuff like that. So I'm not saying that they're pure. I'm saying that white people have an alien way of performing on this planet that's not in line with the natural people of this planet. That's what I'm saying to this day.
All right. I don't think the historical record really justifies that.
Yeah, because you write the historical record. Because white people write the historical record. How can I listen to the people who wrote the record and they're liars? They're continually lying and hiding the truth. So why could I listen to them? I've got to figure out some things by piecing things together myself. So if you look at the record, you're not going to find shit.
What about when people who aren't white and decide to become historians or geneticists or those sorts of people, those sorts of academics, and they agree with the sort of mainstream consensus?
Yeah, they're black. These are the people that makes me the person I've just mentioned. Some of them. They're the people that make me who I am today. They're the ones who went below what white people was presenting at the historical records. They were able to go underneath that layer of books and see the other layer of books that you were hiding. And then they revealed them to people like me. I'm not the only one. What about them? Is that what you're asking? Well, they're here also here. We listen to them more than people who are quote unquote conscious will listen to them more than they listen to your Freuds and your Jungs and your historians.
But what I meant was that kind of this, you might call it the supposed white version of history, or like what the history that might be considered mainstream. The idea that kind of in Africa too, there was like horrible violence like everywhere else in the world. Kind of there are historians who subscribe to this idea who are, for instance, you know, Indian or Chinese, or for many other kind of races that aren't white.
They're all white. They're all connected to white people, though. Like, you're talking about the Chinese. It depends on what part of the timeline that you're talking about. If you're talking about, people lived trying to survive for themselves, you know what I'm saying? But when invaders were people that wanted more, they wanted something they didn't have. So whoever those first invaders were the people who were the foreigners, wasn't they? They were the aliens.
So do you think that no African tribe ever invaded another African tribe?
That's later down in the timeline. What I'm trying to say is that humanity is black. You know what I mean? What you're trying to do is you're trying to like have like some kind of like debate, like we debate in history and who's got the right times. I'm saying to you that, and again, let me postulate. I'm saying to you that white people are inherently racist. So wherever they've come from, they've been the foreigner to come to find us. Whatever we were doing. So that's the point I'm making. So, and whatever they were doing doesn't seem to be recorded of chopping people's head off, hung, drawing and quarter them, raping their children and their mothers, and none of that seems to be recorded in your own recording. So when you're talking about this never happened, we're talking about the level at which white people, the savagery as white people have operated over the years throughout the continent. So if you got, and then the other people who are also quite vicious were the Mongolians. But then,
would you call Native Americans, like Mesoamericans and the people native and indigenous to Mexico, would you call them white?
Well, the original people were black, but they were invaded by they had a god, or they had some being that had came to place that made them sacrifice people to its bloodlust. But prior to that, there was no bloodlust.
So you think that
they always lived entirely under the bloodlust. But what white people present in their history is only that part of their era. When this Quetzalcoatl came to be, that's when the bloodlust started to be practiced.
So human sacrifice was a white introduced thing.
I don't know if it was white introduced. What I'm saying is that an alien came, yeah, whether he's white or not. But I'm saying that the human beings on the planet Earth, which were black, according to my theory, were never built to be that wicked. That's what I'm saying. That's the way you've managed. That's how they managed to walk and murder them off in such numbers and create the great equalizer, because physically we were born for this planet. So these people needed something else to equate themselves with the level of physical supremeness these beings had. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. I know what you're saying. You're trying to measure up like, well, you got it wrong because they drink blood, but you don't know enough, like what I know, in order to say, well, I understand why what that bloodlust and that walking on the red carpet's all about. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's no black people anywhere that walks on the red carpet. But, you know what I'm saying? So it's coming from somewhere alien. This particular bloodlust that you're talking about in terms of Mesoamerica.
All right, I think
that's why they went so high. Their monuments went to the sky. They were worshiping sky gods. There was something else happening on the planet at that time. It wasn't their way, but maybe they were protecting themselves from something. I don't know. There's more. You know, you can't do it all in one lifetime. There's more to it than meets the eye. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, maybe I'll leave some links to some evidences about what I'm talking about in the comment section after this video has finished.
But that doesn't. Whether you leave links or not, I haven't just started to do this last week. I've watched documentaries. I've seen the artists' depictions. You know what I'm saying on that era. What's the difference? I'm saying there's stuff that's hidden. So if you even make these connections, it's still gonna. How are you gonna answer when they don't believe in these other? If you don't believe in this other type of entity, then it won't make no sense. If you want to just believe in earthly entities, if you're gonna come and give me a Christian doctrine based around Jehovah, then there's lots of stuff you're not gonna know, and you're gonna give me all the things that relate to that. That doesn't make no sense. How's it gonna make any sense? Because there's lots of videos right now on Mesoamerica on the internet. It's not hard to find. There's books written. These things are not hard to find in this age. You know what I mean? Any links that you can give me, I'm sure I can find for myself.
Okay, sure. And then I know the final point I wanted to make is that I know earlier in the stream you presented this idea that kind of Indians and East Asians are white or connected to white people. Could you kind of elaborate on that a bit?
Because somehow the DNA, like the Aryans got there, and anywhere, this is my theory, right? Anywhere where you see the suppression of the black human being is connected to whatever agency that white person that white and their white kind come. Remember, I'm not, you see, the only reason why white people get mentioned a lot, because I don't come from an era where Koreans conquered me. I don't come from an era where Indians conquered me, but I can see Indians and Koreans and Chinese people taking as much advantage of us as any of the white races. You see what I'm saying? I can see the same things happening. So if you're gonna draw timelines and stuff like that, and these people moved over, and somebody said, well, the Mongolians are different, and that's not. I'm not getting at that. I'm not getting at precise historical timelines for somebody to come and argue historically in terms of or anthropologically. I'm saying there's a connection between them because they operate the same.
Okay, so you aren't claiming that they're kind of genetically related or kind of share close common ancestry.
Yeah, some of them do. Yeah, of course they do. They probably didn't originate with the same common ancestry, but they share the same ancestry now. There's a lot. We share the same ancestry with white people now.
But I mean,
you're talking about going back anthropologically to a time when they found some skulls. But that's not. What does that prove? That's an anthropological argument. We're talking about behavioralism and why black people are in terms of my argument anyway, they live. You know what I'm saying? It's about these types of people that live amongst us. You know what I'm saying? I'm not arguing an anthropological argument, but a part of what I've got to talk about will involve that. This is an anthropological argument for anthropological people. To say, well, the first man came from Rare and they drifted over here in this amount of, at this time within this period of time. And the anthropologists can sit down and thrash that out. What the hell I didn't spend half my life doing that. They're going to know much more than me.
Okay.
But what I do know and feel and have seen is the behavior of all these groups across the continent and what they do to the original people of that area.
So earlier you kind of mentioned, for example, mitochondrial Eve, which is a finding by scientists.
Yeah.
So kind of, can you explain why you will accept the kind of scientific research on mitochondrial Eve, but you might reject some of the scientific research on other matters, like, for example, this idea that the original people of Native America or China were black.
I'm sorry. So you want me to do what?
So I'm just wondering why it is that you accept kind of scientific research on mitochondrial Eve and like anthropological research on mitochondrial Eve, but you don't accept kind of similar research which would indicate that the indigenous original people of say China or the Americas, that scientific and anthropological research does not show that the original people were black.
Yeah. Well, because I have to pick. I told you I have to feel and pick and choose, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? This is what everybody does. I feel and pick and choose.
What's your methodology for deciding whether some piece of research is true or not?
Information out there that's not on the regular timeline about the black samurai, which just seems to not talked about. Is there other information in terms of the fact that the Chinese shade from the sun and no black people on the planet shades from the sun? There's loads of little stuff that underground people write about that points to that. Not this shit. All your sciences are shared. So if they talk about mitochondrial Eve or the fact that they got the cheddar man of Britain, who's as a dark skinned black man basically with yellow eyes, with blue eyes and long hair, I feel there's some discrepancy there. I don't think anybody needed blue eyes back in them days. I think all human beings, in terms of my understanding, are black-haired and brown-eyed. I don't know where these other people come from. So you're asking me whether I accept it, because I'm saying it follows a particular pattern.
Okay.
As I said, it follows a particular pattern. I don't have to say, well, I'm gonna, everybody does the same thing. I don't do anything different to everybody else. Some people accept Darwinism and say, well, how come you don't follow this information, but you want to follow? Everybody's going to follow the information the way they see it or where it leads them to. Everybody does the same thing. So you want to know why I do it? You need to ask everybody else why they do it. because it follows a pattern that they can relate to and they can drop information on.
Alrighty then. Okay. Yeah, those are kind of the main points I wanted to bring up. I'd just like to close by recommending that people I know if they want to sort of find out about the history of the human race, that they consult anthropologists and geneticists and historians and archaeologists, because I think they're the people who have studied the relevant evidence most carefully. So yeah, thanks for having me on. I'll duck out and let another person kind of question your beliefs and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. They should definitely go to those people. Those people spend hundreds and hundreds of hours of their life focusing on just one particular part of the activity on this planet. So if you really want to go that deep, you should go to people who do that for real. I think there's nothing true said. But when you listen to someone like me, I'm going from strictly a point of my people. I'm not going from your point of trying to. I'm not in a historical argument with nobody. I'm not in an anthropological argument with anybody. I want to know why my people are feeling so much pain. I want to put out there to my people, or the people that I'm coming from or a part of, other ways of looking at the world other than through the eyes of these people. Obviously, you're gonna have to use you're gonna drink the water, the shit water that they come out of the tap. You're gonna have to drink, and it's shit. It's we've got, what I'm saying, there's stuff you have to do, but you wouldn't understand that because you're white.
Okay, but I don't think that, for example, in this day and age, like kind of since the year 2000, let's say, I don't think that institutions of learning like universities are intentionally publishing research in order to try and mislead or denigrate Black people. That is something that happened in the past, but I don't think there's good reason to believe that it still happens today.
But James, that's your thinking. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean it's right, and that's my thing. It doesn't mean it's right. That's your thinking. But I'm saying to you, they're still punishing professors of tenure, who come up with alternative ideas that their structure doesn't. But they're still doing it. So I know what you're talking about. That's the same. It might be a much more subtle, just like the abuse of peoples today is still abuse, but it's more subtle. You can't say, well, they don't abuse people like they did in the 1500s. No, but they're still abusing people, but in a wholly different way. They don't enslave people like how they did, in the 1600s. Yeah, but they're still enslaving people, but in a whole another different way. You can't be saying that, oh, you don't think, and you can say that, but that's your thought pattern. I don't think that's true. Because our professors of tenure are still getting sacked from their jobs. They're still being pushed aside when they don't agree with the established thought pattern of the institution, or when they suggest a new and different way of looking at things. It's still happening today.
That's news to me. Could you perhaps name one of those?
On Google professors of what's happening, and it will just come up, wouldn't it? It's not hard to find.
So I should search professors of tenure who have like had their positions revoked for alternative theories of Black history or something like that.
Not even Black history. No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about anybody that presents something new. You're saying it doesn't still happen. You're saying what they used to do about Black people, they stopped doing. I'm saying that's what you're saying. I'm saying that if they're fucking with people of tenure right now today and people who are presenting different ideas, these are white people. So what do you think? So you think that they're going to be all holy and thou with Black people and the stuff about Black people? That's the point I'm making.
Okay, but if there's a phenomenon to, I don't know. So do you think it's directed towards Black people more than this persecution of professors?
Well, slavery was directed to Black people more. In chattel slavery, was definitely directed to Black more. The robbing and stealing of their property, was definitely directed to Black. What are you talking about? And of course, it's directed more to them. But what you're trying to do, you're trying to argue some kind of white point where you seem to think the whole world has gone equal or something. Well, I live in it, and a lot of people who are living it realize that's not how it goes.
I wouldn't make that claim. I'd make that claim kind of about, I know, the field of archaeology or the field of genetics. Like, I don't believe that those kind of bodies of scientists and researchers are kind of producing propaganda to try and help white people or denigrate black people.
Oh no! So the Darwin theory and the fear and the fear of the Mormons don't still exist. I don't understand what you're talking about.
So Darwin lived kind of 200 years ago. I mean, modern geneticists aren't interested in trying to denigrate black people.
Oh, wait, no, you're saying that. That's what you're saying because you're saying it because you're not one of them. You're just saying it because that's how you feel about it. But that's not how I feel about it. So we're dealing with two separate feelings here.
But what's your evidence for it?
What's your evidence for it?
So one piece of evidence would be the fact that kind of geneticists are drawn from all races. You know, you have kind of Europeans, you have East Asians, you have people from South America, you have black people working as geneticists.
Right. And also, and you have bodies of institutions that only let through certain types of information as well within those quarters. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you've got black politicians who still execute the white racist agenda. That has nothing to do with you. I mean, I don't know what ideology you're living in, but I'm telling you about the one. I'm only talking about the one I'm living in, and people like me are living in. The fact that you're going to see things in your sort of literal sort of black and white way, and what's actually happening is two different things. So they're black and white geneticists. They're black and white politicians. We had a black president of so-called, in quotation marks, black president, a mixed race president who did nothing for black people. He made nothing for black people to go right as an individual race. So what's that got to do with you're clear? That's your evidence. That's fine. But my evidence says, contrary people who live in those, who work and will work towards that same agenda. It doesn't matter what color they are.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, and it's a good point. But I think the difference is that when it comes to politics and I know the legal system or society in general, you can point to evidence of discrimination against black people, but like, can you do the same for within the, academic, within genetics research or within anthropology research?
Well, one of the first things, the most modern things is a cheddar man with blue eyes. You know what I'm saying? There would be no need for a man of that at that period in time for eyes to be blue, because then they say the blue is based upon the light. So if he was born in Britain on a planet that was mostly a sunshine planet, why would his eyes be blue? So that there's a genetic discrepancy there. He's a black-skinned person with blue eyes way back in the beginning of time.
But they're basing his blue eyes off DNA results, because there's a certain gene that codes for blue eyes, and Cheddar Man had it.
And so I don't understand how do you mean. So he had genes for a brown skin and genes for blue eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the DNA results reveal.
Okay, fair enough. But you believe that. I don't believe that.
But okay, so I don't think it's helpful to have that much skepticism about kind of fields like genetics and anthropology.
What I'm saying is this: white people are only trying. Man, this is trying to say it's Britain. So they've given you that much to make him brown. They couldn't make him brown eyes and brown and black hair as well. That would fuck the whole thing up. You are not ready. You people are not ready for that. You white people are not ready for that. So I'm not saying it could be right, and what you said could be spot on. But according to the way I know how white people deal and they think across the ages and their mindsets across all the ages, they would make that guy. Why would he need to have blue eyes? They can tell you whatever they want to tell you. Why would he need to have blue eyes on a sun planet?
What evidence do you think?
When they first came out with the idea of blue eyes, it was to do with the light. So now you're saying that in a sun planet, when the light would have been, there was no light where it was all dark. So this was a cave dweller with brown skin, with long white hair. It just doesn't make sense to me, and that's fine. Huh? You believe it, and you think it's, you want to believe that. I don't want to believe that. How about that?
Okay, so I think so. We can do genetics today, and we can find out what gene causes people to have blue eyes. Okay, and that's that isn't very speculative. That's kind of based on pretty kind of clear evidence. But I think what you were talking about is when people try and speculate what caused this blue eye gene to spread, like what advantage did it give, then they would say something about sunlight, like you were talking about. But you're correct that people indigenous to the British Isles would have sometimes had brown eyes as well. this particular person, Cheddar Man, this kind of old body whose DNA they've examined, he had the gene for blue eyes, but he could have had brown eyes.
Like I said, you know what I'm saying? I don't, because this worldwide oppression of black people worldwide. There's no way. What, you know, they just happen. You're just saying that you agree that there must have been some with brown eyes, but they just happen to find the one with blue eyes.
Well, there aren't that many kind of corpses to find, and most of them don't last that long.
It doesn't matter how many. It could have been one. You know what I'm saying? But it just happened to have blue eyes, considering there would have been brown-eyed people as well. And I would have suggested that in my mindset and from my knowledge point, it would have been more brown eyes than it would have been blue. But then again, who am I? I'm obviously not an anthropologist and not a geneticist. I am saying, again, I'll go back to what I'm saying before, that the way white people across the ages, yeah, they lie. You know what I'm saying? They're always lying and always masking the truth. So you can want to believe that because you're white. I'm saying I don't want to believe that because you're not truthful. So yes, I can understand that you was willing to give in to the fact that he's dark skinned. And like I said earlier, all human beings on the planet, if they started off where they're supposed to have started off, would have been black. So humanity itself was black. How white people ended up saying that black people were from monkeys and subhuman was the case, and make it legal to turn them into human carcasses and things to have for people to own, just shows them the mentality of that race. That's what's from their government and the people. It just shows the mentality. That's all I'm saying. So if I then I'm not using your mentality where everybody's nice and everybody's truthful and everybody's on point. I'm not using that mentality. I'm using the mentality that has been exposed to me over the years against my people, against black people across the planet. So with that, I deal everything they deal with because they're not going to be truthful, because they want to conquer the entire planet and they want to give people they want to give everybody pittance. Everybody that wants to help humanity, they give them pittance. You have a system of capitalism that gives people pittance and gives the individual huge amounts of power. Normal, stupid people who just have the ability to abuse other people, and you've made that a law. So why would I trust a group of people like that
Okay. Can you think of any evidence that you would be shown that might kind of cause you to change that belief? Like, what do you think would have to happen in order for you to?
That's never going to happen in my time.
But can you imagine, like, what would it take for you to?
It wouldn't happen in this time. It wouldn't. I don't know what I have never got into that mindset of thinking to say what I'd imagine would happen, because I don't have that type of imagination. But it's not going to happen in the next 10, 15, 20 years.
So would you say that your mindset is kind of currently unfalsifiable, in that kind of no evidence that you can think of would cause you to kind of question what you believe currently?
Well, I'm sorry, when you said on what?
So do you think your current set of beliefs are unfalsifiable, in that you can't imagine any sort of evidence that would make you believe differently from how you currently believe?
Everything is falsifiable. Everything is falsifiable. But I'm not. You're inducing that mindset as we speak. You're inducing that thought pattern as it's figured. I haven't had time to go over that and peruse my own thought patterns in that element that you're trying to draw out of me now. So there's no way I could come to that as we speak on the spot. That requires thinking. It requires a process. It doesn't require. This is not a quiz show that I come up with a quick answer.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough.
A quick answer to you just because you want one. It takes everything that requires, that has made me come to where I'm talking about today, required a lot of process. I didn't just wake up one day and say, you know what, white people are devils and they need to, they need to. I didn't wake up one day and come to that conclusion, which is is almost like what you want me to do right now. It's like, when would you ever be? You get what I'm saying? Which is it's a typical white question, always trying to fabricate an environment that you must think in reality. If the environment is fabricated, then the answer can be fabricated. I can say, well, no, never. I could say, yeah, it's true. I can say whatever I want. Let there be, talk about now what we just talked about. And I'm saying right now, in terms of where I'm at in my life and what I've found out through reading books and documentaries from black and white people, there's nothing white people are going to do within the next 100 years. I won't be around. That's all I can say. So I don't know. But I can tell you now that they are nowhere looking to make the world a better place to live in. They're proving it, and as I did my show Hollywood Effect, they're proving it by their movies. They have no intention of making this world a better place for human beings to live on. Whoever's running this planet, and they're mostly white.
Do you not think that there's there are kind of different systems within, like, let's call it white society. There are kind of different systems, and kind of maybe some run a bit differently from others. So, for example, I'd put to you that the academic system, the kind of research system that looks into genetics and anthropology and medicine and these sorts of things, that one is less liable to kind of prejudice or wanting to continue a worldview that would denigrate Black people. Do you think there's any potential for that being the case?
Not immediately. I mean, there's always an evolution. That's why we're not chattel slaves now. We're a different type of slave now. So we've evolved, we've evolved out of the situation of being somebody able to kick us in our teeth and murder us at will, to a position where they're able to kill us with another authority at will, and do what they want and get off. So so the wheels of white change is slow and deliberate. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't want to give ground to anything that's going to put in a less than favorable position. So you won't see the cheddar man as a fully Black man, because then it changes their position. And white people are not the white people that dominate this planet are arrogant as fuck. They don't give a fuck about anybody else but themselves and their family. That's how they live. They don't give a fuck about nobody. They never have done. They're generations of the same DNA. What makes you think they've changed? You know what I mean? They only can change, especially when they're breeding amongst each other. The only thing that changes them is when they they've always said in genetics that you can change the way the gene evolves by mixing. And so the ones who are not mixing, the people who've been generations of South Africa, you know what I'm saying? They've come here with the same. The teachers are racist under the quiet. They're still racist, even though they're trying to work under the element of school system and the element of, and yet they're still racist. The children are still feeling their racism. The South, I wouldn't say all of them, but it's in the gene. It's in the part of the behavioral and cultural norm of white people to be racist. Mm-hmm. So so any law, sports, anthropology, paleontology, cosmetology, if what they see puts them at a disadvantage, they hide it. They create laws that says, I can steal all your property from you, give you some money, and then you can't tell anyone. But in order to get this extra money, you've got to say you're not going to tell anyone.
So, well, concerning like just the example of Cheddar Man, in order to kind of mislead people and lie and say that this old corpse had blue eyes when in fact he didn't, that would require a large conspiracy of people lying and trying to hide the truth. A large conspiracy of people. It would need a large conspiracy of people who are all of the same, or all of different races. Sorry. So I think you've unfortunately kind of fallen into kind of conspiratorial thinking, which, and I don't think it helps for reliable knowledge accumulation. It's not based on evidence.
You're white, bro. You're white. You're not gonna. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna understand it because you're white. You're talking about conspiratorial, and yet there's evidence that there's evidence that the building in 911 was blown up, man-made blown up. But yet they're gonna feed the world that, oh no, it wasn't. But yet there's untold evidence by many average everyday Joes and people who are qualified in blowing up buildings and stuff like that, and pilots. Loads of everything, and yet it's still on the timeline as a terrorist attack.
Yeah, I don't mean to say that every single conspiracy theory is wrong, but there is a certain sort of thinking that kind of,
yeah, but if it is,
in order to be valid, it would require an unlikely number of people to be lying, and that kind of thinking, like,
because you don't want to believe that. That's what you're saying. You're white, so you're gonna have to say that because you again, you're uncomfortable with that position. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to say that. I don't have to say that because I'm not scared of your position.
Okay. I'm going to I'm gonna kind of let some duck out and let someone else.
I was gonna say, man's been on for like 40 minutes now, X.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I was supposed to page on earlier still, cause obviously
Well, you should have stopped it, bro. That's
Yeah, yeah. No, it's my fault.
No, it's my fault still, my bad. Someone else is gonna come on still, but
Yeah, thanks
'cause-
for Leon, and thanks kind of Dr. X. Yeah, have a good evening.
All right, cool, man.
respect. Cause you know what it was. I didn't want to feel like man's trying to save man or something like that. You get me? Where he's challenging man's
All right, that's cool. It's fine,
point
it's
of view and
fine.
all of that.
Yeah,
But
it's all good. You see, that's what I talk about the feeling. Sometimes it's how you feel, bro. And if that's how you felt, I'm not complaining.
yeah, but definitely for everybody that's gonna come on, like from now, you get me? Like obviously, man's supposed to be we're trying to make it like 5-10 minutes each person, so the next person can jump on as well. You get me? So
Cool.
just bear that in mind. Obviously, this call it might not be as long as the next one, but I'm gonna interrupt like as we're approaching the 5-minute mark, 10-minute mark, and just let you know that we're approaching there. You get me? So you can let me know if we're gonna continue on or move on to the next one. You get me?
Straight. Yeah, I got that.
Yeah. All right. Cool, man.
You
So
know, I
Ralph.
get in the argument myself. I wanna, you know what I mean? So sometimes I didn't even realize that out there. I wasn't even thinking. But go on.
Let's see. All right. Yeah. Next call is in there now. Still.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah. So.
Hey, how you doing, my doctor? I'm Ralph.
Yeah. Cool.
Peace down, fam. How are you, man?
I'm good, bro. I spoke to you before, didn't I?
I think very briefly, yeah. I caught the tail end of one of your things that was quite good, and then I think I caught you right to the end, so you're already in mid-flight. I was listening to this and I've got some questions for you, and I'm very curious. So,
yeah.
So I think I agree with lots of things you say, which is kind of funny, though. Obviously, everyone agrees on some things and disagrees with others. But I've always in trouble for my views for things on race and culture and everything else that, let's just say, extremely right-wing views. And I find myself agreeing with lots of things you say because I believe that black flight coming from the right will only be solved by black power. And black power ultimately will only come from black pride and black self-esteem. So my first question to you is, would you agree that if you take the comparison between, say, India, because I'm half Indian, and say any African country that was colonized, the biggest difference is the countries that have shaken off colonization don't have a victim mentality. It's very difficult to go around India to find anyone really hating the British for what was done to India. You never see Indians go around complaining in the world going, but because the British enslaved us as colonizers for a century now, or because the Muslims did it for 12 centuries, that somehow we're stuck in the past. In fact, they've escaped from those mental chains of slavery, and now they're dominating. So would you agree there's a difference?
A small group of people, again, you're still talking about Indians who have had to run out of India to come to these foreign countries for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? Leaving a whole bunch of poverty in India.
Yeah.
The poverty in India is very, very high. It's the same greed. It's the same why it's all about me mentality you lot are using. You talk about not victim mentality. It's wholly for victims in your country. People shitting in the streets and all kinds of shit. So I don't understand. You got the same
mindset. I separate that from a victim mentality from just poverty.
Yeah, but you're talking about war. This is when you talk about victim mentality. You lot have already got to jump because you own all the and the light kinds because they got places to make weapons in India. When I talk about white people, I talk about white people and their light kind. Indians are the light kind of white people. That's what I'm saying to you. So you talk about victim mentality like I'm dealing with an economic argument. I'm dealing with the argument, a persona argument, where your persona joins onto the white man's persona. You are an abusive race. You abuse your own people.
Well, you're right. You're right there, Doctor, because you were wrong about one thing. The most racist people on the planet, by every measure, historically, by every study, it's not white people, it's Indians. Indians in every research poll constantly are the most. They're the most racist people. They don't want to live with
this free space. I want to be the cleverest man on earth argument. I'm talking about black people. I don't know about your research. That doesn't matter. What matters is what's happening to us as a people across the planet. That's what matters. It could be 12 million that say Indians are the most racist, but the people that affect us the most is white. So it doesn't matter.
So your concern is mainly for racism, not from, let's say, Indians or Chinese people against black people or white people against black people.
I'm saying, you said you're rewording what I'm saying. I said you're just like them. This is what I just said about Indians. I said you're just like them. You live with the same policies they do, of the abuses of your own people, and the bigging up of those that can abuse people the most. So the people that abuse the most have the most money. It's simple. They don't have a fair system where the best The West ones, they have a system where if I can get a jump in ahead of you by any means necessary, and I'm able to abuse you, I will.
Okay,
That's
so I'm really happy you said that, actually, because that really ties in very closely to my political views. Because I believe that the way that society is organized and everything is organized is not around equality or justice, but around power. And if you make the claim that white people have used power over black people, and that is wrong, then either white people can't help themselves, you said it's in their nature, then either black people have to accept the fact that that power will always be over them, or they have to meet power with power.
Well,
because if you say it's in the white man's plot,
the reason why
right?
what you call a victim mentality is humanity. You're saying that humans should act like these savages. You're saying that humans should turn brutal and savage, like how these people who occupy the planet and who have used this particular method to, to explode bombs, you know what I'm saying, in people's country, killing over, Nagasaki, Hiroshima, the murdering and raping people. And you're saying that black people must respond in like, so that we're no longer under there. That's not going to happen.
No, I'm saying deeper than that. I'm saying deeper than that. I'm saying deeper. I'm saying that's where we all have come from in a state of nature. It is only very recently, very, very recently, only a few hundred years ago, that we've actually traded violence for a universal collectivism. We don't have to go very back, white, black, brown. We are predominantly, like you've said, primates, right? Yeah, we came from black people in Africa, but we came from chimps before that. Most of our biology is physical, right?
Arguments, there's all different types of argument because it depends on your line of thinking. I don't believe in the chimp idea. I believe there's something to do with something that is missing. Like they go so far and then go, oh, there's a missing link. So therefore, that means the argument is not really succinct and full. Okay. There's missing.
Let's pretend there's no chimp ancestry to keep that simple. But would you agree that we're fundamentally back? Mike Tyson said it best, right? Everyone's got a plan until he gets punched in the face. If I were to hit someone in the face, it takes less than 2 seconds for the adrenaline rush to take over their cortex. You're not thinking after 1.5 seconds. Your biology is in animal mode. So we have come from animals.
What's the point you're making?
So my point is deeper, is that if it is natural and animalistic, for let's say white people are the worst, and they've been the best at the suppression, they've been the best at the evil, they've been the best at being bad, then if that is the expression of power, then either you must say, I want to be like Gandhi university people and look at them and say they're bad, or I can't complain about my position and I must create black power.
Right. So
I'm curious, which is it? Do you want to accept a humanitarian position that loses, or do you want to accept black power? I'm not sure where you stand.
You can't. I'm trying to say they're alien. That my view is they're alien. That method that you call animalistic. What animal behaves in that manner? There's no animal that just lashes out and punch for no apparent reason, or to, you know what I'm saying, unless it's dealing with finding its own place on the earth, or its own power, or its own I don't know, range or whatever. It's like, you're trying to get into its range and take its women, or you're trying to get up. That's the end. So the animalistic thing, this behavior is alien. It's not animalistic.
Isn't it? Because even if you look at little dog puppies, or if you look at little lion puppies, if you look at the males, they fight as a form of socializing. They don't fight to hurt each other. They fight to socialize, right? They posture. They posture.
They don't bite each other's leg off to socialize, do they? They don't break each other's jaws when they're fighting. That's social fighting. We, having jokes and running fun. That's social. But taking somebody's life away and making somebody live in utter poverty. That's not fun. Is that what white people children play at when they're playing a society in their house or Monopoly? How much people they can rip off?
I don't know.
And how they go back into black communities, how the government can rip off, take houses that black people have already bought, give them flat fees for them, and then turn them into estates to feed back that same government, and then say that black people, they're this, that, and the other.
So here's my question then. My question to pose is it either, if you think about either you accept that one group, call it white for now, let's pretend it's whitey, one group is doing this thing, this aggression, this injustice to you, your choice is either to accept it and know your place, or to resist and fight it. Would you agree with that?
Well, yeah. Well, that's what I'm doing. We're all resisting in the ways we can.
So wouldn't the way to let's pretend whitey's never going to stop being bad, and it's in his blood, it's in his DNA, it's in his soul to oppress. Wouldn't you
So
say the only way, if it's in his blood, it's in his genes, it's in his soul, to oppress the other, isn't the only answer to that either to live apart or to fight on his own game?
we are earthbound people. We live everywhere. The planet belongs to us, human beings.
Okay.
The first people that occupy the planet. We don't have to do anything. You're talking about accepting the status quo as it stands and fighting it from there. We're saying that.
I'm saying
As I said, let me finish. As I said to the earlier caller, we're a different type of species. We vibrate with the earth. We have other feelings other than logical and logistical and literary feelings. So we feel something totally different to what most people who are disconnected to this planet, these alien people, or the people that are alien in their behavior towards black people. Any race, Indian, Chinese, Pakistani, it doesn't matter. Any race that abuses the woman and pushes her to the back is not the original humanity. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Remember, it's my hypothesis. So that's not. So I don't
understand you.
that.
I'm totally
So anybody, so all this like giving way and then just curling up and dying. Nobody's curling up to death. But what I'm saying is that we have to accept, and we're accepting that they have both the Indians, all of them, they're all connected. They've like the British, they attack these people in the Chinese. They push back the dark skinned people of China because they're all claiming that this thing that you're claiming that or the yellow people or the East Asians were all light skinned. Why are they white? Why the Chinese over here now completely Caucasian and even whiter than some white people? So how are they evolving from yellow skin to white skin?
Okay, so there's two bits there.
Looked in the air and they just turned white.
Yeah. So if you look at the evolution bit,
hidden from the timeline. You know what I'm
but
saying?
if you look at the evolution.
Let me finish this point. There's always stuff hidden from the timeline. So therefore, I can't prove what is and isn't hidden from the timeline. So I have to go with how I feel about certain things. Now, the people who are not solar induced, they don't understand feelings. That's why they're so wicked. If you're not solar induced, even there's some black people who are probably not solar induced. So you ain't gonna feel shit. But I sense that something will come about, but I don't know.
Okay, so let me say that. Let's pretend, if you leave the evolution for just a second, let's pretend everything you're saying is true, and that it's in white people's nature and their DNA blood to always be oppressive and evil, and they're really good at it. And let's just say, to make it worse, that they pick on black people the most. If you're making the claim that black people are above this and they want to retain this soul for humanity, then they simultaneously must accept the position that they will be oppressed. Or they say, no, we don't want to be oppressed, in which case they must take on the same traits as the oppressor to win the game. So if you're going to say, no, I want to preserve my humanity.
How would that be the case? How would that be the case? Otherwise, all the people of the Caribbean wouldn't have killed themselves. The people of India who are being oppressed by their own Indians wouldn't commit suicide. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not built to war and kill and maim and murder and steal and take. Everybody's not built like that.
So then you're just destined to be oppressed forever, right? You're destined to be oppressed, right?
To create a composite race that mirrors white people, that would be the end of the fucking planet. If you create a composite race that is exactly the same as white people, what the fuck left of the planet do you think? Murdering kids, murdering animals, destroying the earth, murdering the forestation, fucking up the water, mistreating people, giving people shit water to drink, using their money for leisure and power. If we create a version of that, you think the world would be a better place, yeah? Is that what you're thinking?
So why do you, just out of curiosity, why do you think all that murdering and rape, for example, why do you think that's done by white people?
They're alien. The Indians, the Aryans, and all these people. God knows.
No. Why do you think it's white people? Do you know of the top 100 countries? The top one
are black. All the other light-skinned ones are connected to some other race. That's why they put. Why is it that on every continent the darker skinned people are put to the back? Because when they got there, whoever got there, they were there first. That's why on every continent, even in China, the darkest people of China are the worst off. The only people where dark people are not worst off is in Africa, and that's what they're heading for next in their conquering of the colonization of planet Earth. They've wiped out the black people of Europe. They've wiped out the black people of Ireland and Scotland. They've wiped out the black people all across. Well, not all across, but they've wiped out most of the people in Arabia. What are you talking about?
I'm sorry, Doctor, just to interrupt you quickly, but that data is just not true. Right?
Well, you can say it's not true because you're only.
No. I'll tell you why. Because if you look at slavery, if you look at the continent, just give me a second, right? If you look at the continent of Africa, right? If you look at the Berlin Conference, pre and to of colonization and slavery, In 1950, roughly, Africa only had about 230 million people. Right now, it has 1.1 billion people. So if you make the claim that Africans have been killed, no, they've quadrupled in population, both before and around slavery. So no, Africans have grown by 400%. No one is killing them. They're growing faster than anywhere else. They're not being killed, right?
The problem with all your statistical people is that you read out this stuff like they're facts. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. All I know is that Africa exists across the African continent. Obviously, we know that North Africa was annexed by Greeks. We know that they called people who were Moors were actually mixed race Greeks, mixed black. You know what I'm saying? We know there's lots of stuff that you're gonna give me all this stuff as if it's this actual fact because you can spot the numbers. It's what you not do.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. I get you, doctor. It's not data. It's the feeling and the heart, right? It's the feeling. Okay, can I ask you a different question? I won't talk long, mate. Just a different question, yeah. Have you ever?
Let me finish what I'm making. So whether it was 100 people or 200 people, the continent of Africa is a black continent. It's been annexed by white people. So and they've come at different points in time. So to have this absolute proof based on your statistics are lying. They lie on a lot of their statistics. I'm not saying
I understand what you're saying. So let's drop all the statistics. Let's drop all the statistics. Can I ask you a different question? Have you ever loved a white person in your life?
What do you mean?
Have you ever loved a white person, like a friend, a neighbor? Have you ever loved a white person?
That's irrelevant to what we're talking about, brother. I don't understand where that.
Because you're talking about soul now and not numbers. I'm just trying to talk to your soul. Have you ever loved a white person?
What are you talking about?
Have you ever loved a white friend, your neighbor's friend?
Over after I've told you I'm not answering it. Doesn't that help you? If I said I'm not answering it.
Okay. Have you, last different questions. Has a white person ever loved you?
You've just reversed the same fucking question, bro.
I'm trying to work out if there's peace and love between white and black.
Okay, bruv, white mamas fed black kids, fed white kids with their breast milk when they couldn't survive. The black Indians helped the people who landed on Plymouth Rock to live in America. What are you talking about? The Australians helped when the penal colony was coming there with their disease. Even though they were getting wiped out, they were still helping them. They had even had white or black Australians running down other black Australians.
I know that. My question is personal, though.
You ask me that question as if you're trying to play some little slick.
No, not at all. I'll tell you what, not at all. I'll tell you what, it's much more open and genuine than that. Because I think when you have racial division, be it between black or white or Indians and Pakistanis or Koreans and Chinese, the only solution is either love or hate.
Bro, yeah, but that's some pie in the sky talk. We're talking about real talk now. Yeah, I understand all of that. Yeah, but what we're talking about is the government of America, the government of China, the government of well, there's no government of Africa, but the government of all these European countries. That's what we're talking about now. Not it's love and hate and because they're not thinking about none of that, and they're the people we need to worry about, not what me and you. You see this little idea that you can split us up into sections and go. Because I said white people are this, it means all white people, and I hate white people. So you can ask me if I love one. It's stupidness. That's like some little game, like I'm a child.
No, it's the opposite way, doctors. I know very extreme white supremacists in my life, like very extreme white supremacists. And I asked them the same question. I asked them, have they ever loved a black person? So I asked them if they've ever loved a black person.
If love was in the genealogy of white people, they could have never enslaved black people like that, because black people could have never enslaved anybody like that. They couldn't live with themselves.
These people, saying white people can't love.
They could live with themselves. The Belgians could live with chopping off young children's hands and feet. You know what I'm saying? They could live with themselves doing that to another human race, and then turn around and pretend it's as if they never introduced it to the blacks, and so now the blacks are doing it. Oh, what savages!
So have you ever read any James Baldwin?
Sorry?
Have you ever read any James Baldwin?
That level, the people where there's feelings is about the ones who still have the DNA of black people in them, who have moved away from the lord and mastership and the servile nature of their race. They love their lord and master within the European and European connected race.
So this is my
question. Let me just interrupt quickly. There's only 10 minutes left of the show next door, just to let you know.
I'll bail out, Leon. Just a couple of quick questions for the doctor.
And just one sec though. No one else saying lined up to come on next, but just to let you know, so heads up next door.
Okay. I'll be off soon, yeah.
And now we've got 24.
So again, X. I say one sec, Ralph. So again, X. What do you say?
It's like an
One
organic
behind you there. What's that about?
there isn't one leader.
I can't hear.
There aren't even several leaders. We're all equal.
I can't hear. Come like, I never heard that last part. Still, I beg you repeat that one more time.
In the background, talking about
I know.
all leaders
Yeah,
and shit.
I've been in the background, man. My bad, fam. Like I said, I've been trying to edit this
All
that
right.
protest thing while I was filming in it, so I ain't been on point still, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Cool, man.
So sorry, yeah. So I'll bail out because other people waiting. So just a quick question to his homage. So I love the writings of James Baldwin, one of my black heroes literarily, and he has a very famous quote that really resonated with me. I'm going to ask you the question because from a famous black man to you, so I'm just mediating the question. And James Baldwin said, "The white man wants to know what we think and feel. The white man asks us what we want." And James Baldwin says, "Why ask the Negro what we want? You know exactly what I want." So my question to you, Doctor, is what do you want?
I'm not answering that question. I mean, that's irrelevant in this conversation. We're not asking soul searching questions there. Like, what do I want? My. I wouldn't say it's a soliloquy, but what I say, you can hear what I'm exposing. So it's clear. If you've got any sense, you can see that that's not what I want. You know what I'm saying? That much you do know. What I actually want to be able to articulate to you right at this moment, like I said to the other caller, I'm not in that position to be able to do that. There's too much, people are so used to trying to expose people by asking them quick, deep and philosophical questions on the spot. You know what I'm saying? As if I have to answer.
I apologize. You don't have to answer. I was just curious myself. It was no trick, but that was all I had to say. Anyway, I bowed because I know Leon, I know other people want in and stuff. So thanks for having me on, man. Peace out, Doctor. Keep going. Keep the faith.
All right,
bro. Peace out, boys.
I respect. Peace. Yeah, X.
Yeah, how long we got left, bro? 10 minutes.
10 minutes still. Obviously, you can go for a bit longer if you wanted to. If there's things that you wanted to talk about that you ain't touched on yet, still.
Yeah, because I'm gonna finish at 11 still. But
okay.
As I was saying, these I'm saying like we've got these two deep brothers that are asking me these types of questions about like I'm in control of something. You know what I'm saying? And this idea of putting power onto an individual like myself, you know what I mean? As a human being, you have to reject it. Because I, as a human being, don't have none of those type of powers they're asking for, and I don't have the ability to influence. These are almost like media tricks that they use to try to expose you and try to put you in an awkward position, and then call you back on what you said later down. And I'm not saying that's what they're trying to do. So it's something that I'm used to hearing along the time, and all the time I've been doing this stuff. So I'm kind of getting used to how they go about, whether they help themselves or they mean it or not. I'm used to this is how they come to me. You know what I'm saying? And so it's important to know as a black man, you know what I'm saying? Trying to just trying to expose a different way of looking at life. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, it's not just connected to myself, it's connected to generations of people. Just like Marcus Garvey, like I said, I'm not, my thing isn't, Karl Marx. My thing is Marcus Garvey. So just like, there's things that are going to affect people later down. I'm not a Marcus Garvey. I'm not a Malcolm X. I'm nobody at that level. I'm not at that tenure. I'm not at that level. I'm just a regular guy with a different viewpoint that's been speaking for a number of years on that viewpoint. I don't think I've got it all together. I don't think I'm right. I don't think none of that. But what I do know, or what I do think for myself, is that there is different things that we're not looking at. You know what I'm saying? There's things that we need to look at that we're not looking at to understand the brevity of what we're going through, what they're doing in Jamaica. These simplistic answers about, whether you love white people or have you ever loved a white person has nothing to do with what's going on in the rest of the planet. You know what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with the murders of the blacks in Sudan. It has nothing to do with the putting 18 shots into a human being and saying that our justice system. It has nothing to do with finding no DNA on a man and wanting to sentence him to death and trying to kill him because he's black. Has nothing to do with none of that. So what's the point of all of that? As if like somehow you can get some type of retribution from asking me a question: do I love everyone and what do I want? As if to say I've got some superior power. So if I say, yeah, what I really want, is love and harmony for everyone to live in love. Yeah. And then it sounds, deep and meaningful. No, it's a load of crap. You know what I mean? How many times have you heard that somebody say that bullshit? It's bullshit. That doesn't say I don't want peace and harmony, because I do. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying that me saying that to somebody asking me, it's a load of crap. It means nothing. That's not a relevant question to ask any individual on a public forum. That's not what you ask somebody something like that, because it doesn't make no sense whatsoever. You can ask, somebody in private can ask me that, what do you think? And I'll say, but in the private, who cares what I want? All I'm doing is making a presentation about how they live. You know what I'm saying, and who they are. And the movie that I'm talking about is a film by John Carpenter. It's from 1988, so it's an old movie. But it sets up how there's a set of beings on the planet that he can recognize. I mean, it's kind of corny still, because obviously but if your mindset is about consciousness, and then you're trying to remain on that higher level of awareness, you will see through the bullshit and understand the basic plot line and understand the various pointers that the film is trying to sort of make you look at and say, well, bro, you know what? That makes sense. They're trying to get us to obey. They're trying to get us to, to not think and all that. And that's how they recognize these people, by putting on these glasses. So when I titled the name of this particular show, They Live, is that I was asking who they are. Are they even human? And those people that were mentioned, they're in every race. They're in black, they're white, they're in every race. So then, you know what I'm saying? But I don't believe that they belong or they're about the human race, because the human race would not have teachers working 12-hour shifts and 16-hour shifts. You know what I'm saying? These people who are running this planet, they're not of human origin. That's what I'm saying. And I might be wrong. But what I'm saying is that by their behavior, by their economic system, you know what I'm saying? White people, you know what I'm saying, and their various like kinds, you know what I'm saying? They go around just killing animals for the sake of watching them die and calling it sport and calling it hunting and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, and people live with it. They rationalize that to themselves and say that that's good. Another being, you know what I'm saying, on this planet, an animal, because every time this is why you can always hear the people who are still stuck in the animalistic and the savage mindset of the Europeans, because they always refer to things that animals do as animal behavior. You know what I'm saying? And animals don't do anything apart from shitting where they walk. What is it they do and attack humans? What is it else that they do that is so unsynchronized and unnecessary? Do they go around just tearing up fucking human beings as they pass them? Do they go around raping other animals and just killing them and leaving them to die on the ground? You know what I'm saying? Is that what animals do? Do animals just sporadically attack other animals for no apparent reason? Animals don't do none of that stuff. So when they refer to animals as animals, you know what I'm saying, as a certain behavior as animalistic, I'm saying, which part of the animal you're talking about? The attack of the animal, the cure of the animal, the blood that the animal leaves behind. Other than that, you know what I mean? Man is reptilian. Man's ice cold. They got ice running through their veins. That you're gonna postulate on a national stadium in China that people should work from 9 till 9 for you as a human being, and then other people who are also on that platform don't feel no way to applaud him, you know what I'm saying, or try to find a way to get that going, so that other workers who are working, like, you just live working 9 to 5. Sorry, other workers that are trying to, you know what I mean, are trying to buy that trainers that they're costing 50p to make, and you're paying £200 to buy, like you're an idiot. And this idiotic mindset that they got us in, just living in this tiny little circle of life, you know what I'm saying, we'll just consume, eat, and then die and not worry about anything else, is an alien mindset to this planet. This planet's supposed to be self-surviving. It's supposed to recycle itself. You know what I'm saying? But they waste and waste and waste, and they kill and they kill and they kill until they can't kill no more, and then they find something else. They say, oh, let's put this on this plot of land and stop killing them. They can't help themselves. This is what the white race is revealing itself to be: a murderous, you know what I'm saying, and a homicidal race that hates to see human beings live in utopia or in peace, because everywhere they've gone to, in terms of their taking over of the planet, people were living in peace and harmony. And all this fake, instead of saying, oh, what I'm saying is unprovable and unevident, a lot of the stuff that they're saying is what they wrote, which we don't even know if it's true, because they lie all the fucking time. You know what I'm saying? It's not about whether it's true or because they can reference something that they wrote. The same people that's got us under this type of capitalistic enslavement, this wage slavement, and we've got people of, you know, like Dyson moving to China, or was it Japan, to get cheap labor to make his, you know, like £400 Hoover. So, you know, them people in China, and they're black. When you go and look for them people, they're the darkest people of the race. They're not the white people of China that are doing this work. It's the dark skinned people. If you want to call them yellow or brown or whatever, because they call them yellow because what they do is have to break up the world to make it seem like there's all different types of people. The people of North Africa were black. The people of the Caribbean were black. All the they've got paintings of these people as black people. The people of Australia were black. They got pictures, but the narrative they give out is contrary to what the people them actually were. But you have to dig deep. You can't deal with the surface and the peripheral evidence that they're promoting on their media. And their media, and when I say the media, I mean their schools is their media. You know what I'm saying? As you can see, they control their media. Once they see their media's exposing too much, they say, "Oh, you can't talk about this." And you know, as the caller said, I'm conspiratorial in my outlook. You know what I'm saying? That everything I think is a conspiracy, bro. I don't think anything's a conspiracy. I think these things are actually fucking happening. You know what I'm saying? But you've given it a name. White people have given it a name to offset what they're doing to people. You know what I'm saying? They've offset what they're doing to people. They, you know, in Britain, they're turning, you know, all of a sudden out of the blue, they're turning black people who helped to build this country, they turn them to shit. They can't help themselves. And you're telling me other white people voted them in. So that's in the white nature then, isn't it? They didn't, you know, the people are going, oh, Theresa May. They voted in her. That means a whole bunch of people says she represents how I think. Hitler didn't kill the people himself. His people did. Other human beings who were white killed the Jews who went to war. You know what I'm saying? White people colonized the Jewish religion, and they're not even, and a lot of them are not even Semitic. They're Russian. They're Caucasian. You know, and chanting sentence. How can you chant? It's like me saying I'm white, but I'm chanting anti-black slogans. You know what I'm saying? I'm white. Oh, you're being anti-black. But you're white though. How can you be saying that? So you got white people saying you're being anti-Semitic because they call themselves Jew-ish. They're not Jews, they're Jewish. They're part of a colonization of a religion to be part of the of earth. But again, look what they're doing. Look what they're doing with their Jewishness. They're all the same. They colonized black music. Look at is it now? They bought out all the institutions of black music. That, you know, the record labels and all that. Look at the state of music now. They bought it. White people bought it out. They want every major company owned by whites and Japanese. Look at the state of music now. But there was a time when black people had their own Jetstar. We had a whole heap of little outlets of black people could buy from black people and all that. And we had all these other types of music. Not the best. I'm not saying we had the best music and they did it. But now they're singing like us, acting like us, and calling our music their music. It's not fair. It's not like they're being fair about it. It's not like it's being balanced. They choose who they want. They've taken over music with X Factor and X this so they can control the music and the people that they want to see. Before we would say, oh, we like that girl. She's wicked. Or we don't like that girl. Now they're telling you, you know, they had this thing. You can't boo. All the things that made us establish who we were, they take from us and say they're superior. They're going to show you how to behave. And then they corrupt your shit. So you have to keep moving. The only thing that I haven't moved on is, you know, is hip hop, rap. Sorry, because they corrupted hip hop and turned it into rap, and then they celebrate prostitutes. I've told you this for years and years. They celebrate prostitutes, gangsters, drug selling, chemical selling of drugs, and the consumption of white-owned products. Yeah. That's why there hasn't been a turn. Now they're calling it trap music. So they're not trying to get it any better. They're finding different ways to make it sound more gutter. So it's gone. So maybe the next one will be prostitute music. I don't know. They're finding all these different ways. So it's gone from hip hop to rap to trap. You know, trap meaning the fucking, you know, place where you buy drugs. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? We've completely lost it. We've completely lost it. And as I said, I'm about awareness and putting information out there. So at some point, like people come back to me now and said, what I said about what was going to happen to hip hop now. I said, this is what's going to happen. Where it's at now, as I was talking about this 15 years ago, this is where it's going to end up. This is where it's at. So all I can keep doing is that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's nothing else I can do. There's no money to be made. There's no big enough of my status to be made because I'm not trying to make people believe in me. You know what I'm saying? And make people follow me. I'm trying to put out there another way of looking at what's going on to encourage other types of being coming forward and other types of mentality coming forward. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to encourage. I'm not trying to be anything. I'm not trying to, I want the world to be a better place. Of course I want the world. Who doesn't? Or who in their right mind consciously doesn't want the world to be better? But where they're heading, in terms of the people that control, they don't give a shit about you or the world being a better place. They give a shit about how much money they're going to make. And all the people who decide that, oh, I'm getting out of the ghetto, I want to get out of the ghetto, I want to, by any means necessary, I want to get money, they're just like them. You know what I'm saying? They're just like them. It's a pity that Nipsey Hussle had to die. You know what I'm saying? This is 2019. This is May 2019. He's only been dead a few weeks. And, the amount of, there's been nothing like this in such a, and this is what frightens white people, because these are things that they try to calculate everything. Just like when R. Kelly came out, they didn't calculate how much people that used to share the music amongst themselves, how much black people liked it and brought it to work, and then their friends heard it and all that. They didn't. White people didn't bring forward R. Kelly. We did. Black people did. Black people like Kevin Hart. All these people, them we do, and they follow on our suit. These are our people that we big up first, and then the people then go on later on to just sell us out because the money and the law of money becomes so overwhelming that they forget about their people and decide that they're gonna, until they become unfunny because the soul is gone, the rhythm to move and connect is gone. So what people laugh, what white people end up laughing at when they finally get to them is empty. You know what I'm saying? It's emptiness. It's just emptiness there. Just a money turning machine there. But what we was laughing at the beginning was actually funny. What we're laughing at now is like, most people are systemized or stuck in a system. They'll find them funny still, being black. The ones who are the real soul laughers and people who actually come from that position, that ain't funny. He ain't funny no more. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to say he's not funny at all, and he's doing that funny bits, but he's not the same. The same thing happened to Eddie Murphy. The soul went. Same thing happened to Richard Pryor. After a while, once you get in amongst them, the soul goes, man. They'll eat out of every inch and make you lust after what their fiat currency, and make you lust after it, and then you just lose it. So they'll live on. As I said, that's the film. John Carmstar, starring a guy called Roddy Piper. And if you get a chance to watch it, you'll understand how it works. You know what I'm saying? It's a different race of people. We are not the same race of people. We're a different race of people. We are not the same. As I said, horses bleed blood and so does sheep. They're not the same. You know what I'm saying? So the idea that we have the same heart, pigs have heart, and some human beings have got pig heart in them. Are they the same? So if I know a man who's had a heart transplant and had a pig heart put in, a white man. Is he now a pig or is he still a fucking human being? You know what I'm saying? It's because you've got a heart doesn't make you human. Because you've got blood doesn't make you human. Because you come from a womb doesn't make you human. The only way you can really tell is about their humility and the way they behave amongst each other to see if it seems or feels human. So when people try to say they think they can imagine soul, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to literalize it. Then again, it's fantasy. And that's something that only those, they have a saying, who feels it knows it. Only those who know. Those who don't, just don't. All right, so that'll be me. That'll be my end.
Yeah. I don't know X-Man.
Yeah, man.
Respect for doing your thing again.
Yeah. Same. We'll do it at the same time not next week, the following week. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to promote it. I'm gonna try to promote it earlier. Still, it's my bad. Everybody for the late promotion. Still, X done told me how the thing already. Still, man, I was mad busy over the last 2 weeks. Still, so yeah, I'm gonna try to get this one out early so people know from early and can prepare what they want to talk about, what questions they want to ask.
Yeah, it's good. It's good when you have specific questions. Like, no, you know what I'm saying. There's no, when it comes to debate, there's no real. It's not emotional like that. We're gonna sound emotional. You know what I'm saying? And I can't be like a white guy if he feels all controlled. I'm controlled because I'm smashing up my computer or nothing. But the nature I have is the nature I have. I can't have another person's nature. As long as I'm in control, that's the main thing. So we do it the way we do it until whatever time, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, man. Yeah, respect, X, man.
Catch up soon, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Peace, man.
Bless.
And I'm sorry, I had to say big up to Rose for her contribution. big up to all the people them that bother to listen to me and bother to tune in and still, you know, think it's worth listening to. And you know what I mean, this is not competition. It's not for to show off or to that. This is just stuff that you might disagree with. You might can discuss with somebody else and decide whether I'm chatting shit or not. But this is not meant to be for you to figure, yeah, I know it all and this is how it goes. And this is about to be like opening up different avenues. And some avenues you're going to agree with and some avenues not. Some avenues you're going to seem as cool as done, think that's wrong and think that's right. But these are views. And I think there's some of the views that we have needs to be challenged. That's all I'm saying. And this is about opening up other ways of thinking along the lines of white people and what's happening to black people across the planet. So with that, peace out, good night, and catch you up. All right, bro.
All right, peace, man. We out. One.